What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 5DF Chapter 117 3 Tails Errata Chakra Seeds, for subscription. It turns out that Shi Shangyang may be thinking a little too simple, and he doesn't know how the system determines it. Even Shi Shangyang heard the tragic howl of the three tails under the water, but there was no light coming out of the card. Come on, this makes Shi Shangyang very sorry. If the tailed beast can also burst the card, in other words, the tailed beast chakra is really equivalent to a super energy source. However, it is also possible that the senses of the tailed beast are inherently different from those of humans. This state may not be a shock to the tailed beast at all. After all, think about it carefully, from the birth of the tailed beast to the present, the beasts encountered may no longer be beaten. Few, otherwise impossible to be sealed off by the ninjas, become the source of chakra in Jinchuriki's body. Think about it, after being beaten a lot, in the face of normal circumstances, the tailed beasts are not so afraid. Resurrected in the ninja world. In this case, expecting the tailed beast to fear humans, I am afraid that it is not necessary to have the ability to kill the tailed beast. 14 Shi Shangyang thought about it a little bit, and felt that if he were a tailed beast, he would be more hated than fear when facing humans, and it would be normal not to explode. That can't be done. Today, I have to try whether the tailed beast can explode the card. Thinking like this, Shi Shangyang flipped his hand, and the space of heaven and earth began to vibrate violently, and then a huge chakra palm appeared out of nowhere and plunged into the water, just like a normal person's hand stirring the water in the wash basin, suddenly made the water in this area a stormy wave, rolling endlessly. Nohara Lin was frightened when she saw it. If Shi Shangyang had not explained it in advance, she would have fainted from fright at this time. Fortunately, this world is not only the spiritual world of Nohara Rin, but also the spiritual world of Three Tails Jiu, otherwise, it would not be able to withstand Shi Shangyang's torment. Roar! Roar! Under the surface of the water, the three tails howled violently, the sound rolling like muffled thunder, and pieces of water burst into the water, but under the huge chakra palm, it was like a toy, unable to get rid of it at all. Time passed by, and minutes passed by in a blink of an eye. In the past few minutes, Three Tails Jade was like a B****************** D who got into the front-loading washing machine. He was swayed by the big hand, and he had no resistance at all. However, the sound of howling never weakened, but because of Shi Shangyang all kinds of actions, and there was infinite anger in that voice. Advertisement, it's a pity, no matter how Shi Shangyang tossed, but no card burst out, which made Shi Shangyang think, maybe the tailed beast really can't burst the card. Thinking of this, Shi Shangyang restrained his thoughts, put away the idea of continuing, and then when his mind moved, silk-like strips erupted from his body, probing into the void of this piece of heaven and earth, and on the other side. Then it went deep into the water and wrapped around the body of Three Tails Isoyu. Ow, let me go. The three tails were pulled out of the water, the straps gradually tightened, and at a certain point they turned into chains, tying the three tails firmly, and then the chains became hollow until finally melt into the body of Three Tails Isu. Boom! The Three Tails Jiu fell into the water again, but the body began to shrink rapidly, and the phantoms of chains appeared on the surface of the body, which looked like tattoos from a distance, but blocked the body of the Three Tails Jiu, letting him it's hard to make too much movement, and even the surrounding space seems to be strengthened. In this state, it is very difficult for Three Tails to move even a little. Shi Shangyang nodded and stepped in front of Three Tails Jiu. At this time, the Three Tails Scorpion, the reminder has become much smaller, but compared to normal people, it is still a behemoth. Japan, lend me some chakra, Shi Shangyang said. Go away. Three Tails Jiu was furious, how could he agree to Shi Shangyang's request? Seeing this, Shi Shangyang just shrugged, since Three Tails Japan didn't want to take the initiative to give it, then he naturally had to take it himself, which is nothing to say. Afterwards, Shi Shangyang suddenly stretched out his hand, and his palm penetrated directly into Three Tails Jiu's head. At this time, Three Tails Jiu instantly let out a terrifying howl. But Shi Shangyang was unmoved, as if he had caught something, he yanked it out. The next moment, the pale red Three Tails chakra was pulled out by him from Three Tails Jiu's head, condensed into a ball in his hand, and the other end was still in Three Tails Jiu's body. Advertisement. Shi Shangyang turned his head and said, it's almost here, let's go outside, I have reinforced the seal, under this seal. It can no longer take the initiative to disturb you, and chakra is also sealed by me, unless you contact me. Hear it. Chakra, if you can be friends with it and thus become the perfect Jinchuriki, otherwise it is better to use less Three Tails chakra. Nohara Rin had a painful expression on her face, but she still nodded patiently. She is Jinchuriki, but now that the Three Tails Jiu has been extracted from chakra, she is naturally affected. For example, in the original plot, the Jinchuriki were extracted from chakra by the Shao organization, and the final result was death. This process is obviously not so pleasant. It is precisely because of this that Shi Shangyang was unable to continue in Nohara Rin's spiritual world, so he brought Nohara Rin back to the outside world. Said to return to the outside world, 890 actually means that the two people's thoughts returned to themselves, and then Shi Shangyang heard Nohara Rin's screams. At this time, the two were sitting cross-legged facing each other, and in Shi Shangyang's hands, a group of pale red-tailed beast chakra was condensing, while the other end was on Nohara Lin's body, which was being pulled out of her body little by little, naturally, accompanied by intense pain. But it is also better than the violent extraction in the original plot. Extracting chakra from Jinchuriki's mouth and nose, it is completely exhausted. Shi Shangyang took control slightly and eased Nohara Lin's pain. This process will last for a while, which is also impossible. And his idea was mainly concentrated on the gold card on the ground. Obviously, this was the card that Nohara Rin burst out, and Shi Shangyang naturally took it without hesitation. Drop. Congratulations to the host for getting the ability card 3 Tails Arata Chakra Seeds. Close black lens bracket. Dip. Congratulations on the ability card obtained by host. 3 Tails Arata Chakra Seed has been increased by 7 times, and it has been upgraded to ability card. 3 Tails Arata Chakra Seed, blank state. Shi Shangyang was stunned for a moment, then a little stunned. Is this golden ability card released by Nohara Rin or by 3 Tails Ashita? Also, what are 3 Tails Arata Chakra Seeds? Chapter 118 Special Embryos, please subscribe. I didn't understand it, so Shi Shangyang decided to keep this card and put it in the card bag. When I have time and free time in the future, I can study it carefully. Maybe I can really study something. Shi Shangyang estimated that the seeds of 3 Tails chakra should be the kind that can grow, because the word seed in the name gives people an intuitive feeling in this regard. The matter in front of him is more important. Shi Shangyang concentrated his energy and extracted 3 Tails' chakra from Nohara Rin little by little. The whole process lasted for about 10 minutes. For Nohara Rin, it was like experiencing life and death. After the end, Nohara Rin collapsed to the ground, sweating profusely, and her face was pale. This was the result of Shi Shangyang's efforts to control her, seriously injured. How do you feel? Shi Shangyang asked. Nohara Rin barely propped herself up and panted, it's okay, there's no big problem. Shi Shangyang nodded. That's good, it's hard work, let's rest first. Nohara Rin said. No, I can still persevere, and I also want to see how you create life. Seeing her like this, Shi Shangyang didn't refuse, and the 3 Tails chakra in his hand was still drawn from her. It would be inhumane if he didn't agree. Afterwards, Shi Shangyang called White Zetsu off, and in his strange gaze, he directly tore off one of his arms. Hey, it hurts. White Zetsu wiped out the pained expression on his face. Shi Shangyang said indifferently, I will send you to guard the gate if I make up again. 35. Well, the leader is really heartless, White Zetsu said. Shi Shangyang glanced at him, and the guy immediately shut up. Nohara Rin smiled and felt much better. Losing an arm is nothing to White Zetsu. The recovery ability of White Zetsu cells is extremely powerful. As long as there is sufficient nutrition, the lost arm of White Zetsu can grow back in a very short period of time. In addition, White Zetsu is still a puppet strictly speaking, he can even install a normal person's arm, and then assimilate it. Shi Shangyang doesn't need to worry about this kind of thing. Anyway, after White Zetsu is destroyed, he will find a way to repair his arm. On the test bench in the laboratory, Shi Shangyang put White Zetsu's broken arm on it. Even if this thing is separated from White Zetsu's body, it still has fresh vitality. For example, now, Shi Shangyang only uses his hands. After poking the arm, the thing started to twitch, and it was full of weirdness no matter how you looked at it. Then, Shi Shangyang sent Ultimate Yin escape chakra to this arm, and the pale arm was instantly wrapped in pitch black, and then it was like melting snow, and it turned into a strange black liquid in a blink of an eye. It is also inappropriate to say that it is liquid, it is actually a jelly state, melted and spread out. Advertisement Nohara Rin frowned as she watched. This scene really made people feel somewhat uncomfortable. Yin escape plasticity now is only the first step, and the second part is to inject the chakra of the 3 Tails into it. This is a very important process, not to open the refrigerator and close the elephant. Getting in is so simple, the whole process is full of caution. This is what Shi Shangyang did at this time. The plasticity has not been completed, but the arm of White Zetsu has been transformed into the most basic cell state with the addition of Yin cells. After injecting the chakra of 3 Tails, subsequent plasticity is the key. And now, Shi Shangyang carefully injected the chakra of 3 Tails into it, and saw that the chakra mass in his hand was divided into innumerable strands, connecting every part of the jelly-like substance, tightly wrapping it, then slowly penetrated into it. Shi Shangyang concentrates completely without any distraction. This process is very important. If one is not careful, those substances will collapse directly, and the chakra of 3 Tails will also perish with it. Fortunately, with Shi Shangyang's current control ability, coupled with Rinnegan's bud-like insight, the whole process still seems to be a near miss. A few minutes later, the chakra in Shi Shangyang's hands disappeared, and it was replaced by a special mass of red and black substances on the test bench. The background color of this mass of material is dark, with pale red twisted lines on it. There are no rules, but those twisted lines form a pattern-like trajectory, which looks beautiful and strange. Wow, I have lost the control and induction of these cells, the leader is amazing. White Zetsu sighed aside. From this moment on, this group of substances based on White Zetsu cells has nothing to do with White Zetsu extinction. Strictly speaking, it is already a supercell in another state. These supercells retain the freshness of white Zetsu cells, and with the injection of three-tails Arata chakra, the freshness is even higher. Shi Shangyang ignored white Zetsu, took a deep breath, and began to plasticize again. He intends to mold this mass of matter into an existence similar to three tails. After all, chakra is derived from three tails, and he is used to the existence of three tails, so shaping it into such a shape is the easiest to stabilize these chakras. But this is the creation of life, and life often represents uncertainty. Really speaking, life is a miracle. Even if Shi Shangyang can create life with yin and yang, there is no way to be a perfect master. The variables of this thing are too great. Like now, the variables appear. Shi Shangyang clearly wanted to be transformed into a son of a B****ch, but it turned out to be a baby embryo. This, Shi Shangyang can say that at least he had prepared in advance, but Nohara Lin was shocked, especially seeing that the embryo was extremely unstable, and there were signs of collapse from time to time, and his brows wrinkled unconsciously. Shi Shangyang hurriedly injected Yangdan, trying to maintain the embryo, but with the injection of Yangdan, the embryo was growing, but the instability did not change at all, instead it became more and more intense. We must find a way as soon as possible, otherwise this attempt will inevitably fail. Advertisement. Thinking of this, Shi Shangyang said, "Lin, cut off your palm." Nohara Rin didn't know why, but she did as she did, cutting her palm with Kuwu, and then Shi Shangyang grabbed her wrist and placed it on top of the embryo. The embryo seems to have life. After it is contaminated with Nohara Lin's blood, it quickly absorbs the blood, and the signs of collapse also have a stable trend. Not yet, there is something missing. Shi Shangyang frowned, and at this moment felt that he still made things like creating life too simple. Seeing that the embryos were showing signs of instability again, Shi Shangyang had a headache, and he couldn't find what was missing. It stands to reason that both Yin Dun and Yang Dun have been used. Under normal circumstances, creating life would not be that difficult, but now with the addition of Three Tails chakra, it has made all this a huge, chanuos, variable. After all, that is chakra, the tailed beast, which is inherently violent and unstable. Oh, I should have thought of that earlier. $*$. Shi Shangyang was a little helpless. At this time, White Zetsumi murmured, "Are all human children born this way? Then who is his father?" Shi Shangyang was stunned for a moment, then quickly raised his head to look at Nohara Rin, who looked inexplicable. "Do you have Uchiha Obito's blood?" Nohara Rin didn't understand, but nodded. "Yes, there are some in the past. She is a medical ninja, and she has some teammates' blood on her body, which is sometimes used on the battlefield." Saying that, she took out a scroll, opened the seal, and there was an extra tube of blood. Without hesitation, Shi Shangyang opened the tube and poured the blood on the embryo. In an instant, the embryo, like a heart, continuously expanded and shrank several times, and then gradually stabilized. "It's done." Shi Shangyang was overjoyed when he saw this, and then hurriedly continued to deliver the Yangdan chakra to provide the embryo with vitality. Chapter 119. Obito is happy to be a father. Please subscribe. The reason why it is called an embryo is because this thing was originally only the size of a fingernail, and then it became the size of a finger as Shi Shangyang delivered Yangdan's vitality, and it swelled again after adding Nohara Lin's blood. It was about half the size of a palm, and after adding Uchiha Obito's blood, it almost grew to the size of a palm. Now, this can no longer be called an embryo, it should be called a fetus more appropriately. The outside is covered by a layer of transparent fetal membranes, and the inside is the state of a normal fetus. There is no sign of collapse, and it quickly stabilized. What happened in this? Why the addition of the blood of the two would stabilize the fetus? Shi Shangyang was puzzled about this, but now is not the time to think about it. Shi Shangyang continued to deliver Yangdan chakra to the fetus. Because there was no nutrition from the mother's body, Shi Shangyang's Yangdan chakra became the only energy source for the fetus to continue to grow. Shi Shangyang did not dare to stop at this time. Nohara Rin was also watching nervously. Shi Shangyang didn't figure it out, let alone her. She was in a fog from start to finish. White Zetsu looked at the fetus on the testbed, then at Nohara Rin, then at Shi Shangyang, and inexplicably said, "Hey, is this your child?" Nohara Rin's originally pale face turned red immediately after hearing the words, and she gave White Zetsu a blank look, speechless towards this nonsense guy. Shi Shangyang said, "It's her and Obito's child." Positive. Nohara Rin stomped her feet. She was still a young girl, and being told that, even if she had a cheerful personality, she was somewhat unbearable. Shi Shangyang calmly put away the purple card that Nohara Rin dropped. It was a medical ninjutsu card, and then said, "You are a medical ninja, you should understand that this fetus is formed, and the key factor is the relationship between you and Obito. Blood, white Zetsu cells can only be regarded as a medium. Strictly speaking, it is the uterus. The chakra of Three Tails is equivalent to ocean water, and the blood of you and Obito is the reason why the fetus is formed and can be maintained." Pausing for a moment, it seemed to be time for Nohara Rin to joke, and then added, "So according to biology and genetics, you are the mother of this fetus, and Obito is the father of the fetus. This is not wrong. Just say it's just the process of getting pregnant in October." Nohara Lin's face became even redder when she heard the words, and she said very slyly, "You didn't tell me in advance that this would be the case, otherwise I will definitely not help you. It's too embarrassing." Advertisement Shi Shangyang is in a good mood at the moment, because the condition of the fetus is getting better and better. There has been fetal movement in the fetal membranes, and with the injection of Yangdan chakra, the vitality is gradually exuberant, and the size also begins to grow gradually, from the original slap size and begin to grow like a normal fetus. He smiled slightly. I didn't know this would happen. Life often represents miracles. Maybe, this is the miracle of you and Obito. Maybe, how much that guy cares about you. It's not that you don't know. With this child, I want to come between you and him. Do not talk. Nohara Rin's ears were all red, so she was a little embarrassed for a young girl to face this situation. Shi Shangyang accepted it as soon as he saw it, without any more nonsense, and then looked solemn, and then said, no matter what you think, the appearance of this child is both a miracle and fate. Therefore, I hope you can accept him. Is it okay? Nohara Rin took a deep breath, then stared at the growing fetus on the testbed, and nodded slightly. Well, I see, I'll try. To make such a determination, Nohara Rin also took a lot of courage. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang was relieved a lot. If this life was formed according to Shi Shangyang's ideas, then he didn't say that, he would definitely cultivate it himself, but now it has unexpectedly become a fetus, and he still used Nohara Rin and Uchiha Obito. The blood of the two is formed, so he will definitely not interfere too much. He was right, this fetus is strictly speaking the child of Uchiha Obito and Rin Nohara, so it should be taken care of by the two of them. I believe that with his yin and yang to provide vitality, coupled with the three tails chakra and the blood of the Uchiha family, this child's future growth potential is definitely not bad, beta. At this moment, Shi Shangyang had great expectations for this child. He brought such a surprise to him when he created life for the first time. He never thought of it anyway, but at the same time, he also made up his mind that if he created life again in the future, it can't be like today, and who's to blame if a child is born again? Time passes by Shi Shangyang's delivery of Yangdan chakra to the fetus. This process is destined to not end in a short time, and it can even be said to be a long time, to the point that even Shi Shangyang has some headaches. Advertisement I thought that at this growth rate, the fetus would be able to reach the birth state in half a day at most, but as time went on, the fetus became more and more like a normal fetus, and the growth gradually became slower, even if there was a Shi Shangyang entered Yangdan chakra as well. Just like that, several days have passed, and the fetus has grown to a size of 4 or 5 pounds, and the fetal movement has become more and more frequent, but the growth rate has become slower and slower, and it has become more and more like a normal fetus. During this period of time, Shi Shangyang naturally took time out every day to deliver Yangdan chakra to the fetus, because his Yangdan chakra is the only thing that can make the fetus continue to grow. If the delivery is stopped, the fetus will grow. Stop, and over time, you are likely to die. In this case, Shi Shangyang can only stay in the village and use himself as the source of chakra to provide the fetus with the energy needed for growth. Just like that, more than 2 months have passed in the blink of an eye. In the past 2 months, Shi Shangyang seldom went out, just stared at the village, and at the same time paid attention to the growth of the fetus every day. Anyway, the outside world was still during the war, and several villages were beaten to death. It doesn't affect this for the time being, and Shi Shangyang has enough time to deal with the matter at hand. With the passage of time, the growth of the fetus has gradually reached the later stage. Now the fetus looks at least 6 pounds. Looking at the appearance, it is estimated that it will be the day of birth in a few days. Shi Shangyang is even more looking forward to this. The same is true for Nohara Rin. From her initial resistance, to acceptance, and now to her expectations, the whole process of change is also based on her daily concern for the fetus. Shi Shangyang feels that this change in mentality is very important, normal. With this child, that guy Uchiha Obito, he has never run away in this life. Today, the fetal movement has reached its peak. It is not so much the fetal movement as the restlessness of the fetus. Obviously, it is time to give birth. Shi Shangyang, Nohara Rin, and White Zetsu have all come to the laboratory, watching the changes of the fetus nervously and with concern. Nohara Rin clenched her hands and walked around the test bench with some unease, looking very nervous. Don't worry, this kid is very healthy, and by the way, you're a mom, shouldn't it be Uchiha Obito who should be nervous? 35 feet. Nohara Rin gave Shi Shangyang a white look, but she still forced herself to calm down. Chapter 120 Born 3 Tomo Sharingan, please subscribe. On the testbed, the fetus was restless in the fetal membranes, as if feeling that he was about to be born, much more lively than before. Shi Shangyang is still delivering Yangdan chakra to the fetus, and is sorting out the status of the fetus little by little. In the past 2 months, most of Shi Shangyang's energy has been placed on the fetus, so whether the fetus can survive healthy, at this time this step is very critical. After all, unlike the production of the mother, this life is created, and it is inherently flawed. This defect does not mean that the fetus is incomplete, but that the fetus is not a normal pregnancy, but a life created by Shi Shangyang through various coincidences, and the resulting life is similar to a normal pregnancy, but there are essential differences. What is the difference between the two? Even Shi Shangyang, who created all this, can't figure it out, so he has this kind of worry, and the tension and concern at this time is not difficult to explain. As time passed, the restlessness of the fetus gradually stabilized, but Shi Shangyang could feel that the vitality of the fetus was increasing bit by bit, and gradually stabilized, and the breath of life became more and more intense. But seeing that the movement of the fetus weakened, Nohara Rin was worried. How? Why didn't he move? She asked. Shi Shangyang smiled and said, don't worry, the child's vital signs are normal. As he said that, he withdrew his hand under Nohara Rin's doubtful eyes, and then said, it's almost there. Shi Shangyang's words were like a signal. At this moment, the color of the fetal membranes that wrapped the fetus suddenly changed, gradually becoming darker, and from the soft and transparent before, it turned into a color of flesh and blood. Then, just like the eggshell was broken, a crack appeared on the fetal membrane, and then liquid flowed out from it, and what flowed out could be said to be ocean water or nutrients. In short, with the outflow of the ocean water, the outer shell formed by the fetal membrane gradually fell off, and the fetus inside also came into contact with the air for the first time. The small body twisted uncomfortably, and then issued his first cry in this world. Wow! Wow! The child's cry was loud and strong, his calf was kicking in disorder, his hands were waving, and he seemed very uneasy. Shi Shangyang took a step back and gestured to Nohara Rin. Nohara Rin's face was a little complicated, she pursed her lips slightly, and wanted to extend her hand, but she seemed a little hesitant. It seemed to her that the birth of this life made her feel a sense of responsibility and weight. Shi Shangyang patted her on the shoulder and smiled. It's always accepted, isn't it? 9. Advertisement. Nohara Rin nodded slightly when she heard the words, with a firm look on her face. After taking a deep breath, she gently hugged the child on the test bench into her arms, then wiped her body with a clean towel, and then covered it with a small quilt. Wrap it up. Not to mention, maybe he felt the breath of Nohara Rin. The child who was still turbulent just now was unexpectedly quiet at this time, but his little face leaned towards Nohara Rin. It seemed that some kind of instinct was stimulated. Shi Shangyang smacked his lips, and at this time, he chose to shut up very rationally. Yeah, is this a human cub? Is he going to eat? Before White Zetsu finished speaking, Shi Shangyang covered his mouth. Nohara Rin blushed slightly, glared at White Zetsu, took out the baby bottle prepared in advance, turned around and started feeding. Did I say something wrong? White Zetsu asked suspiciously. Shi Shangyang patted him on the shoulder. You're right, but next time you say something like this, pay attention to the occasion. Well, is that what people call a wink? He asked. Yes, but unfortunately you don't. 99. Shi Shangyang asked White Zetsu to clean up the test bench. He turned around and was about to leave the laboratory, but at this moment, Nohara Rin over there exclaimed. What's wrong? He asked, turning around. Nohara Rin didn't care about being shy, and hurriedly said, Yang, look at this child's eyes. Shi Shangyang took a closer look, and was immediately surprised. The child who had just been born was opening his eyes wide at this time, rolling his eyes while eating now. If this is the case, it can only mean that the child is healthy and normal, but the abnormality is that the child's eyes are blood red, and in the blood red, there are 3 prominent tomo. Sharing. This is what surprised Shi Shangyang the most. Subconsciously, Shi Shangyang activated Rinnegan and began to observe the child's eyes with his pupil power. He found that these eyes were the real Sharingan, and it seemed that they were activated by his pupil power. At the same time as he probed, there was a kind of chakra in the child's eyes, and then this chakra appeared in the form of a chakra. Sharingan as the center, began to emerge in the child. Advertisement. Wow. Wow. The child's mouth creaked, and a twisted look that a baby should not have appeared on his face, and his small body began to twist and struggle in Nohara Rin's arms, like a small beast. For flowers 0. What's going on? Nohara Rin was shocked. She clearly felt the changes in the child. At this time, a chaotic chakra appeared on the child, disorderly and manic. The pale red chakra wrapped the child, and there were bubble-like things on the chakra, which matched with the child's pair of Sharingan. It looked different. Alien. Shi Shangyang frowned slightly, took the child out of Nohara Rin's arms, made a mark with one hand, and then gently pressed his hand on the child's abdomen. In an instant, a pattern of incantations spread out from Shi Shangyang's palm, covering the whole body of the child in a blink of an eye. In less than 2 breaths, the chakra that emerged was suppressed back. The child's writhing calmed down, and the pair of Sharingans flickered twice like a provocative TV screen, then slowly disappeared, returning to their original black pupils. 0. Without the influence of this chakra, the child calmed down quickly. Maybe he just exhausted his energy and fell asleep with his eyes closed after a couple of sips. How is this child? Nohara Rin asked nervously. Shi Shangyang handed the child's hands to Nohara Rin, and said at the same time, it's no big deal, I sealed the chakra in his body, and when he gradually grows up, I can teach him to slowly control this energy. What about Sharingan? Why does this child start Sharingan now? In the Uchiha family, no one in the Uchiha family can start Sharingan at birth. Nohara Rin asked again. Shi Shangyang thought for a while, and then said, it should be because of the tailed beast chakra. Children of this age have no thinking, they are like a piece of white paper. Sharingan is a blood descendant belonging to the power of blood, and opening Sharingan requires cruelty mental shock. Generally this kind of mental shock is negative. It just so happens that the chakra of the tailed beast represents chaos and disorder, and when the child is not thinking, it directly stimulates his bloodline power, thus opening Sharingan. Then, will it have any effect on him? Nohara Rin looked nervous. Shi Shangyang smiled and said, no, this is a good thing for him, at least he won't have to experience all kinds of cruelty in the future before he can start Sharingan. 39. Really? Shi Shangyang patted Nohara Lin on the shoulder. Don't worry, with me, there will be no problem with this child. Hearing what he said, Nohara Lin was relieved. Chapter 121 The child is called Uchiha Sasuke, please subscribe. Nohara Lin is still a girl now. Speaking of which, it is somewhat embarrassing for her to accept such a child at her age, but Shi Shangyang is also a straight man, and it would be a dream to expect him to take care of the child. If it was replaced by him, it would be a question whether this baby could grow up smoothly. Thanks to Nohara Rin's kindness and her psychological construction over the past 2 months, she can truly accept the appearance of this child. Otherwise, this is really a problem. So when the child showed something strange, Nohara Rin's worry was normal. Born to be 3-tomo Sharingan, if it is Uchiha clan, it is completely impossible, but what happened to this child, although it is an accident, can be explained. So Shi Shangyang is full of curiosity about this child's future. Expect. And now the question before him is, what should this child be called? Nohara Rin was also very distressed and wanted to let Shi Shangyang make up his mind, but Shi Shangyang, 890, would not get involved in this matter, so he turned his head and threw this matter to Uchiha Obito. What did you say? In the dark forest, there was an exclamation. Uchiha Obito's face that could frighten a child to cry was full of disbelief. Yes, you heard right, Yi Yuanlin has a child, Shi Shangyang said. This is the second time the two met in private. Uchiha Obito and Shi Shangyang agreed on a location and then came secretly, but he did not expect Shi Shangyang to bring him such a hot news. So that he didn't accidentally reveal a card. Hey, it's a gold card again. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang took it without hesitation. Dip. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the ability card Kamui, Hollow, Close Black Lens Bracket. Dip. Congratulations to the ability card obtained by host. Kamui, Hollow, has been increased by 6 times and upgraded to ability card Kamui, Hollow Grandmaster. Have you seen it? How else would you say that Uchiha Obito is a kind person, and when he came up, he revealed his own housekeeping skills, which ordinary people can't do. Looking at Shi Shangyang's smiling face, Uchiha Obito's mind was confused, and he stammered. When did it happen? Also, who is that child? Who's? Damn, it can't be you this B asterisk 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 D. How did you promise me in the first place? And you said you would take good care of Lin. You bloody B asterisk 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 D. As he spoke, his eyes were red, and Mangekyo was excited on the spot, with confusion, pain and anger intertwined on his face, and his expression became complicated and anxious. I haven't finished speaking yet, what are you worried about? Shi Shangyang has a calm look. Forgot to tell you, that kid's last name is Uchiha. Uchiha Obito opened his mouth wide. Advertisement. What? You heard right, the kid's surname is Uchiha. Shi Shangyang repeated. You, what do you mean? Could it be some B asterisk 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 D in the family? Uchiha Obito stammered in disbelief, and now there is only one thought in his mind, that is, to find the B asterisk 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 D who did this, and then kill him, and even bring him to look at Shi Shangyang a little bit badly. Shi Shangyang glanced at him indifferently, and said casually, it's the Uchiha of Uchiha Obito. What? Uchiha Obito was stunned suddenly, and then his face flushed red, looking like he was greatly insulted, and said angrily, B asterisk 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 D. What nonsense are you talking about? I haven't seen Lin for a long time, you. He wanted to scold people very much, but his education level was not high, so he couldn't find any swear words at this time. Shi Shangyang curled his lips and said, that was a life I created. Because of some accident, it mutated into an embryo, and it was stabilized with the blood of you and Lin. Now it has grown into a normal baby. I went through the birth steps a few days ago, so strictly speaking, it's your baby and Lin's, 99. While speaking, he put away another gold card that Uchiha Obito had just released. Well, it's the Kamui space capability, which is also a 6-fold increase, and also reaches the Grandmaster level, which is very comfortable. Shi Shangyang estimates that Uchiha Obito's abilities have almost been exhausted, and he doesn't know if he will get the gold card again in the future. In order to continue to get the gold card in the future, it seems that this guy has to work hard. Just grow up. Uchiha Obito didn't know what Shi Shangyang was thinking about the devil at this time. His eyes widened, his face full of daze and disbelief, and he came back to his senses after a while. You mean? I have a child with Lin? This guy grasped the crux of the problem at once, didn't care about the child's problem, didn't ask anything else, but cared that the child belonged to him and Nohara Rin. Madara can be seen in the setting of the first infatuation in the ninja world. But think about it, a normal man, even a teenager, who can bear NTI? Obviously Uchiha Obito can't bear it. Shi Shangyang nodded and said directly, Lin's original intention was to ask me to name the child. Can't. Shi Shangyang was interrupted by Uchiha Obito before he finished speaking. Shi Shangyang pouted. I refuse. 99. That's good. Uchiha Obito was relieved. But Lin is also reluctant to name the child. She said that this kind of thing should be decided by men, so in the end, I can only find you if you don't want to. I do. Advertisement. Okay, so I'll give you 10 seconds now. Quickly think of a name for me, so I can go back and do business. Shi Shangyang said. Uchiha Obito didn't care about Shi Shangyang's bad attitude at all. At this time he was already in ecstasy, and smiled stupidly. What does the child look like? Is it like me or Lin? Boy or girl? When can I have S*X with you? Lin meet? 35. It sounds good in the front, but it doesn't sound right in the back. Co-author Obito still doesn't care about the child, just wants to meet Lin. Shi Shangyang was very contemptuous, but still replied, Boy, you are more like Lin and are very healthy, so you hurry up and come up with a name. If you see Lin, you can visit her when you are free, as long as you don't expose yourself. That's it, that's great, if it's like Lin, it will definitely be very handsome. Uchiha Obito's simple and honest smile looked very satisfied. Let's call it Uchiha Sasuke. I remember it was 3rd Hokage's father's name. He was a powerful ninja, and he was the same generation as 1st Hokage. Shi Shangyang had a strange look on his face. He wanted to say something, but couldn't. In short, he was very tangled. Are you serious? He still decided to persuade him. Should we change our name? Uchiha Obito frowned. What's your expression? What's wrong with this name? It's what I expect from that kid, don't you know 3.0? Sarutobi Sasuke. That's with Senju Hashirama, Uchiha Madara and more Hyuga. A strong man with the same name as Tenin, is the pride of the Sarutobi clan, and is also a ninja respected by our Uchiha clan. What's wrong with this name? No, that kid is called Sasuke. What will the 2 pillars be called in the future? Shi Shangyang wanted to scratch his head. Anyway, please change your name. 35. No, it's my right to be a father, Uchiha Obito stubbornly said. Are you serious? Shi Shangyang asked. Uchiha Obito is a little serious. People in the ninja world are precocious. The more talented can go to war at the age of 5 or 6, and the 12 or 13-year-old boy calls himself his father. Forget it, it's still a little too early. Shi Shangyang clenched his fists and finally let out a long sigh. I'm sorry Urzuzi, it's not that I didn't stop him, it's just that this guy refuses to pay attention. I tried my best. Chapter 122 Obito runs wild on the road of the villain. Please subscribe. There's nothing I can do. I can't stop this thing. Shi Shangyang knows Uchiha Obito's temperament. This guy is called Axis if it sounds good, but if it sounds ugly, it's just a muscle in his head. He will definitely do what he decides, otherwise the original plot will not be the same. It would be so easy to be blackened, and after so many evil things, it would be so firm to do it. Therefore, regarding the early appearance of the name Uchiha Sasuke, Shi Shangyang can only express his apology to Urzuzi. If he encounters it later, Urzuzi will either change his name or be called a nickname. After naming the child, Uchiha Obito was full of a sense of accomplishment, and after recovering, he asked Shi Shangyang a little nervously. You said, will the child like me? What else can Shi Shangyang say? He can only sigh. I don't know if the child likes you, but you haven't done it yet with Lin. Unexpectedly, Uchiha Obito seemed to be enlightened at this time, and grinned. It doesn't matter, if you have a child, Lin will not be able to run away. Now you don't have to worry about that guy Kakashi anymore, hee. Shi Shangyang held his forehead and was speechless. That's it, you pay attention to hide your identity, don't make people suspicious, he said. Uchiha Obito waved his hand casually. Well, it's not a big problem. The only one who can monitor me now is Black Zetsu, the creation of Uchiha Madara's will. That guy has no fighting power, so don't worry at all. Shi Shangyang said, it's the Black Zetsu that should pay more attention. Why? Because that guy is not as simple as Uchiha Madara's creation at all. No, to be precise, that guy is not Uchiha Madara's creation, Shi Shangyang said. What do you know? Uchiha Obito asked subconsciously, returning to his senses. Shi Shangyang did not hide it, and directly told the history of the ninja world, including the origin of Black Zetsu. Huh? Are you telling the truth? Uchiha Obito questioned. Shi Shangyang snorted coldly. I spent a lot of time and energy for this information and... Saying that, he showed his Rinnegan directly and said solemnly. You have seen Nagato, you should know what these eyes represent. The existence of Sage of Six Paths is not fake, so these things, you better choose to believe. Uchiha Obito's eyes widened. You stole Nagato's eyes? Advertisement Shi Shangyang said angrily, these are my own eyes. Can Sharingan evolve into Rinnegan? Uchiha Obito said this kind of thing is still magical. Shi Shangyang waved his hand and didn't bother to explain, he just explained. It seems that the war in the ninja world will continue for a long time. During this time, you must continue to organize contact with Shao and do your responsibility as the villain. 95. Uchiha Obito nodded. Don't worry, I know what to do. No, you have to do more than that. From now on, you have to use your talents to completely win the trust of Black Zetsu, understand? This time, Uchiha Obito was at a loss. Upon seeing this, Shi Shangyang said, you have to remember your identity. You are Madara who is hiding in the shadows of the ninja world. The person who is trying to subvert the ninja world and use infinite Tsukuyomi to achieve peace in the ninja world. Remember what happened to yourself. Of those conspiracies, you have to learn to do things as Madara. Shi Shangyang's attitude was serious when he said this. Uchiha Obito swallowed subconsciously, took a deep breath and said, you mean, want me to be a real Madara? Shi Shangyang nodded. Yes, this is the real reason why I keep you in the dark, Obito. We want to change the entire ninja world, and let the ninja world achieve real peace. then some things need to be abandoned. You can be kind, but looking at what's happening in the ninja world now, you should know that pure kindness has no effect on the ninja world. Yes, but, what shall I do? This time, Uchiha Obito panicked. He had enough mental preparations, but from the beginning, he just thought that he was hiding in the dark, just acting as a spy for Shi Shangyang and obeying his orders, but now it seems that it is not so simple. Go use Madara's identity to stir up the entire ninja world, Shi Shangyang said solemnly. Uchiha Obito's eyes widened, and then, as if he understood something, he realized, hide your kindness and try to do something that will shake the ninja world, because the more you do, the more you will make Black Zetsu think of you. It's safe and controllable, and in short, consider yourself a villain. Is this really going to be the case? Uchiha Obito asked. Shi Shangyang nodded and said solemnly. The ninja world is already rotten to the point where people like Uchiha Madara want to change, don't you understand? Advertisement. Uchiha Obito's body was startled, and he was instantly stunned. Yeah, if the ninja world is okay, how can a guy like Uchiha Madara have such a crazy plan? He is Uchiha, and because he is Uchiha, it is clear that some Uchihas go to extremes after suffering despair. In the current ninja world, peace has become an extravagant hope, and it is no wonder that Uchiha Madara wants to subvert the ninja world. Shi Shangyang added. Your mission is very important. I need to use your identity to draw out all the unstable factors in the ninja world, understand? Uchiha Obito took a deep breath and nodded solemnly. I see, don't worry, I know what to do. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang 890 was relieved. That's good, remember your identity, don't do anything beyond your identity. Black Zetsu is extremely cunning. Uchiha Madara is just his pawn, miss this opportunity, and let it hide in the dark, then it would be more troublesome, and that's the real reason I made you be careful. Uchiha Obito looked solemn. Okay, then I need to go back as soon as possible. 35. Well, go back, I will take good care of Lin, you can go to see Lin when you have a chance, anyway, you know where she is. Shi Shangyang smiled. Well, let's do it first. Uchiha Obito simply left. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang breathed a sigh of relief. He said these words to Uchiha Obito on purpose. As for the reason, it is meant to be a vaccination, and it is also a warning, because he found that Uchiha Obito's personality has declined a bit, especially after this incident. This guy can't even disguise his own personality. Arrive. It is precisely because of this that Shi Shangyang will explain it again. Let this guy know the seriousness of the matter, and maintain the characters of Uchiha Madara and Black and Obito on weekdays. He needs this guy to become a villain, secretly in the ninja world. Do things. For the sake of the peace of the ninja world, my heart is really broken. Chapter 123. Looking for Orochimaru, for subscription. Back in Tien Village, Shi Shangyang told Nohara Rin about seeing Uchiha Obito this time. The latter didn't ask anything else, but was very concerned about the child's name. It was funny to say that she was unwilling to ask her to name the child, but now that Uchiha Obito chose it, she did not look shy at all, which made Shi Shangyang feel a little baffled. The child's name has been determined, and Obito named the child Uchiha. Uchiha what? Nohara Rin asked curiously. Uchiha Sasuke. Shi Shangyang said it anyway. Nohara Rin thought for a while, then nodded and said, it's a very good name. Sasuke is the same name as Sarutobi Sasuke. Sarutobi Sasuke is a powerful ninja who has been famous in the ninja world since Konoha was established, and he is also the father of Lord Hokage. Children do not insult this name. 99 Shi Shangyang smacked his lips, unable to tell her that when the second child of Uchiha Fugaku's family was born, he would also be called this name. He even had some nasty tastes, and he didn't know who was reincarnated. Suddenly, he accidentally reincarnated into this Sasuke, and then it would be interesting. Don't worry, this child's talent will not be bad. The born 3-tomo Sharingan will save him a lot of detours. I will teach him personally at that time, Shi Shangyang said. Well, then I'm relieved. Do you want to see Sasuke? Nohara Rin asked. Shi Shangyang nodded. Look, this kid has grown very fast, and I don't know if he can remember people now. It's still early. Children will not have complete memories until they are 2 years old, Nohara Rin said. Advertisement. The two of them said, and soon came to another room of Nohara Rin's house. There was a crib in the room, and a black-haired baby lay in it, and fell asleep quietly. The baby is more than 2 months old, and it is no different from a normal human child. It grows and grows like a normal baby. Every day, it eats, sleeps, and cries when hungry. Very. Most of the construction of the village has now been completed. As the head of the ninja school, Nohara Rin was naturally assigned to a residence, and as a ninja and teacher, the monthly salary is also very good, so I usually invite an experienced woman. Someone to take care of the child, and Nohara Rin herself has now begun to take charge of school affairs. Shi Shangyang did not reach Sasuke's sleep, and after a few glances, he left with Nohara Rin, and the two came to the school. The school covers a large area, and it looks like more than 10 acres of land. There is a teaching building, 3 stories high, but because of the lack of internal students, it only uses 2 classrooms. The largest in the school is the playground. The playground is divided into several parts, including a school field for fighting, a training area for daily exercise, and a lawn for children to rest and play. In short, there are all the necessary facilities in the ninja school. Shi Shangyang is very willing to invest in this point. At present, the school has only one teacher, Nohara Rin. There are more than 40 students, ranging in age from 2 to 3 years old. They are all children from the village. Experience, at first, can only be taught in Konoha's ninja school mode. Fortunately, with the passage of time, Nohara Lin has gradually explored some experience, but if this is the case, it is not enough to revitalize a school, and if you want to keep the school on the right track, you need professionals in this field. At least it has to be a ninja. But there is obviously no such person in Tien Village now, and there are only 3 people in total who have real ninja abilities. This start was extremely difficult, but Shi Shangyang was not in a hurry at all. There are no ninjas in the ninja world, but there are too many ninjas to count. Shi Shangyang already has a plan. At this moment, the situation in the shinobi world is still rotten. Sand Shinobi has signed an armistice agreement with Konoha, and has been defeated in name. After the war with Sand Shinobi has been resolved, Konoha will devote all his energy to dealing with the other 3 shinobi villages. Advertisement it was indeed 3, because Mist Shinobi didn't know what was going on, so he actually declared war on Konoha at this time. The reasons were already made. Their 3 tails were lost, and it was suspected that Konoha did it. Anyway, people in the whole ninja world know that Konoha is very powerful, and now both Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi are targeting Konoha, and they usually don't care. At this time, if Mist Shinobi is added, everyone thinks Konoha there is no doubt that he will lose in this ninja war, so Mist Shinobi has no pressure to participate in the battle, and has a posture of splitting Konoha with Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi. But none of the 3 families would have thought that even in this situation, Konoha still did not show much decline. Especially on the front line against Rock Shinobi, the name of the Golden Flash has been frightening. He directly killed the entire front, completely destroyed Rock Shinobi's logistical supplies, and caused Rock Shinobi to suffer huge losses. After that, they fought for hundreds of miles, and one person singled out the AB group of Cloud Shinobi, so that all Cloud Shinobi ninjas knew the glorious name of the Golden Glitter. It is precisely because of this that the name of the Golden Flash resounded in the ninja world, and Konoha also firmly contained Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi's offensive by virtue of these 2 victories, but was able to mobilize some of his strength and participate in the fight against Mist. During Shinobi's battle, the situation is almost like this: the 3 parties attack the Konoha family. All Konoha can do now is to experience resistance. The chance of counterattack is not large. Even if there is a Golden Flash, the situation can only be maintained in this state at most. And Konoha's Sanin, Tsunade and Jiraiya are not in the village. Chano's Orochimaru hides underground all the year round and can't see people. This kind of time is not useful at all. The older generation of ninjas are basically on the battlefield. The younger generation has also provoked the lead, and the rest are the teenagers who have not yet matured. The situation is very unfavorable for Konoha, but there is no way out, because Konoha and Sand Shinobi form an alliance and then start to face Rock Shinobi and Cloud Shinobi together. Things are so wonderful. A defeated party has changed his body, and he has become an accomplice with the victorious party. It can only be said that the world is really wonderful, and the reality is too magical. At this juncture, Shi Shangyang sneaked into Konoha. He came here to meet a special person, and Shi Shangyang had been curious about this person for a long time, and it was a pity that he did not see him. By the way, where is Orochimaru at this point in time? Chapter 124 The current situation of Konoha. Please subscribe. Yes, Shi Shangyang dived into Konoha this time to find Orochimaru. Who is Orochimaru? That is one of Konoha Sanin's Lang-kun, a man who has always made immortality his goal in this life. No, a genius to be precise. Because Orochimaru was born as a civilian ninja, there is nothing wrong with that. He is not a ninja from the ninja clan, but an authentic civilian ninja, but he has gradually reached the level of Sanin by relying on his talent. Orochimaru in the original plot, in the early stages of Shippuden, people thought that he was the ultimate big boss. If the follow-up timeline was not unfolded, one by one hanging on the wall, Orochimaru suffered a historical weakening. Otherwise, if he could mix to the last stage of the plot, maybe I can really break my wrist with Uchiha Madara. The genius of Orochimaru is something that Shi Shangyang has to admit. If you think about it, Shi Shangyang felt that if he was Orochimaru, or if he was born in the ninja world, it would be impossible to reach the level of Orochimaru. How talented is it? It's a pity that this guy doesn't have the protagonist's destiny, and some conspiracies seem to be a little bit tricky, not too big. But even so, a guy who can go from Blizzard 890 to Blogger cannot be underestimated. Shi Shangyang's infiltration into Konoha is very simple. Whether it is Flying Thunder God technique, Shang False God ability, or Kamui, he can sneak in silently and naturally. It will not attract the attention of others. At this point in time, Konoha's focus is on the external war, and the village is still calm, but the defensive force is naturally not as strong as before. Shi Shangyang doesn't say that he walks outside swaggeringly, but he pays a little attention, and he won't be attacked. Others found. He first went to the ninja school to have a look, a little like revisiting the old place, nothing special to find, and then returned to his original home in Konoha. The small courtyard has been abandoned for a while, and a lot of its contents have been moved away, especially the things that Shi Shangyang left or used in the memory of his predecessor. Basically none of them were left, and they were obviously taken away. Who took it and what did it do? Shi Shangyang doesn't know, but he can probably guess. The great thing is that Konoha wanted to analyze some information about him through these. Who told him to be a rebel in the village, or a genius, beta, must be taken seriously. Advertisement. Shi Shangyang didn't have any feelings for this place, so he left after looking at it. He had enough time, and he was not in a hurry to find the target right away, so after thinking about it, he went to the Uchiha tribe. The Uchiha tribe is located in Konoha village. It occupies a large area. It looks like a village within a village. There are ninja patrols belonging to Uchiha inside and outside, but the number is not large. In this war, Uchiha also sent a lot of people. Humans participated in the battle, so most of the rest were ordinary clansmen who had not awakened Sharingan, and some powers that were deliberately left behind. After all, it is a ninja clan, and sometimes the interests of the clan must be placed above the village. This is true no matter what era or world it is just human nature. Naturally, Shi Shangyang would not be found. He easily entered it, and then sneaked into the home of the owner Uchiha Fugaku, but unexpectedly met Uchiha Fugaku here. It has now been more than 3 months since Shi Shangyang betrayed Konoha and disappeared from the battlefield. Uchiha's ninjas don't know how many rounds they have rotated in the battlefield. Uchiha Fugaku's return from the battlefield is also well explained. Compared with the Uchiha clan, the clan of the Hyuga clan rarely participated in the battle, and only some branch house members went to the battlefield. In this regard, the Uchiha clan was more conscientious. Shi Shangyang thought for a while, but in the end he did not choose to show his face, and then chose to quit quietly. At this time, Uchiha Fugaku was discussing something with his subordinates. After Shi Shangyang retreated, he turned his head and glanced in that direction. "What's the matter, Lord Patriarch?" one person asked. Uchiha Fugaku shook his head. "It's nothing, continue the topic just now. Now the village's strength is insufficient, and our Uchiha's pressure is also great, so everyone needs to persevere. The war is expected to continue for a while. Uchiha can't drag the village at this time. Hind legs. But now the village treats us Uchiha." Someone spoke, but was interrupted by Uchiha Fugaku raising his hand. He said solemnly, "That's the village's business. I understand everyone's scruples, but everyone needs to remember one thing. If Konoha loses in this war, then waiting for what happens to Uchiha." Everyone was silent. This question was easy to think about, and everyone present knew what would happen to Uchiha at that time. So, other things can be put aside. Only during the war, Uchiha can't retreat, and we also need to let the village know, without Uchiha, what situation and consequences Konoha will face. Advertisement. Yes, the Patriarch. Everyone responded, and then someone sighed. "It's a pity that little brat named Shi Shangyang. We should have been more decisive from the beginning. If he returns to the family, there will definitely be a top powerhouse in the family in the future. All Danzo, that nasty guy." Speaking of this, the scolding was a bit gnashing of teeth. The people of Uchiha regarded Shi Shangyang as a member of Uchiha from the beginning to the end, and when they learned that they had betrayed Konoha with Shi Shangyang, the people of Uchiha felt even more pity. They naturally knew what was going on, so they had no idea what was going on. Not surprisingly, the resentment was placed on Danzo. After all, Shi Shangyang made a lot of noise at the beginning, and Konoha couldn't cover it even if he wanted to cover it. "Let's decide like this. I can handle the matter with Yang-kun coldly. After the war is over, I will personally find Lord Hokage to seek justice for the matter of Yang-kun." He said this for a while, then shook his head slightly. Uchiha Fugaku said, "The village has already come to a conclusion about Yang-kun. He is a rebel, that's all, and besides." Hearing this, the middle-aged people couldn't say anything against it. They all knew the pressure the village was facing right now, and also knew that in this situation, Uchiha was really not good at doing anything out of the ordinary. Everything had to wait until the war. It's over, we'll talk about it when the situation stabilizes. Shi Shangyang didn't know this, and was not interested in knowing and caring. After leaving the Uchiha family, he went to another wealthy ninja family, the Hyuga family. But this time, he was much more careful. Uchiha Fugaku closed his eyes slightly, recalled the scene when he met Shi Shangyang, and what Shi Shangyang said at that time, and only after a while said, "This matter, don't talk about it in the family in the future." "Lord Patriarch, why?" someone asked in disbelief. Chapter 125 Hyuga's Good Show, please subscribe. Compared with Sharingan, white eyes have a natural advantage in insight, especially in terms of farsightedness and perspective, which is completely unmatched by Sharingan. As for the Hyuga clan, it was a place where a bunch of blindfolded eyes gathered, and the exploration was 360 degrees without dead ends, so Shi Shangyang had to be careful when entering this place. Of course, Hyuga's people can't keep their fluoroscopy on all the time. After all, they have to live. Therefore, the people of the Hyuga clan usually do not open their eyes in the clan, which is considered a taboo, so Shi Shangyang just hides himself, and has no other exaggerated actions. This is the first time for Shi Shangyang to come to the Hyuga clan, and everything he sees is novel, mainly because it is the first time for him to do this kind of thing, and he has never really studied it, so he is more curious. After some investigation, I found out that the Hyuga family is really ancient. This kind of ancient is the rules of their family. The master of the clan has absolute rights. The only responsibility of the branch house is to protect the clan, and the second is for the village. War. But the clan is not willing to go out at all. If you want to ask why, it is naturally related to the safety of their own eyes. Without caged bird, the clan can easily be taken away on the battlefield. It is precisely because of this that among the current Hyuga clan, at least half of the branch house members have left the village and entered the battlefield, while the remaining branch house members are still responsible for the safety of the Hyuga clan. This is difficult to understand in Shi Shangyang's view. What kind of thinking can make these branch house people give up? Perhaps, they themselves are not die hard. Shi Shangyang saw such a scene. A member of the branch house was punished by the members of the Hyuga clan for making a mistake. The clan cast Caged Bird, and the members of the Hyuga branch house immediately fell to the ground with their heads in their hands, and their faces were extremely contorted and painful. The chief family was indifferent and used to everything. Naruto Hyuga, if you make the same mistake next time, you won't forgive you so easily, the Hyuga clan said. The Hyuga branch house, who was rolling on the ground, was a young man, but he was a few years older than Shi Shangyang, about 15 or 16. At this time, he held his head on the ground and shivered, even though the Zong family was over. Even though he was punished, he dared not stand up. Advertisement, humph. Seeing this, the Hyuga clan snorted coldly, and then left with the two branch house members who followed him. The two branch house members glanced at the boy on the ground sympathetically, did not dare to say any nonsense, and hurriedly followed. It was not until the three of them left that the teenager named Hyuga Naruto rolled over and lay on the ground, his chest heaving violently. Shi Shangyang could clearly see his clenched teeth, clenched fists, and the hatred and anger in his eyes. Boom! Hyuga Naruto slammed to the ground with a punch, ignoring the pain in his fist, and even the bleeding from his fist did not stop. Zong family. Zong family. Another Zong family. Why is all this? 35. He growled unwillingly. Shi Shangyang watched the whole process and said it was funny. The boy named Hyuga Naruto was actually very unlucky. He just didn't take the initiative to greet him when he met him on the road, and then he was stopped by the Zong family. Let's just say that Hyuga's attitude is not good. The young Hyuga Naruto was a little unwilling, so he didn't have a good attitude when he apologized, and as a result, it became disrespectful in the eyes of the Hyuga clan, and the branch house members who were disrespectful to the Hyuga clan. The clan had the right to deal with them. With the present result, to be honest, Shi Shangyang felt that this scene was too dramatic, which really opened his eyes. The young Hyuga slammed the ground straight down, and soon his fist was dripping with blood, but compared with the anger in his heart, the injury on his hand was nothing at all. Straight. What's wrong with you? A young girl ran over and was shocked when she saw this scene, her face full of worry. Advertisement Hyuga Naruto froze for a moment, and then hurriedly wanted to hide his injured hand, but he was still a step too late, and the girl saw it clearly. Kiko. Why are you here? Asked Naruto Hyuga. I heard them say that you were stopped by Kenichi. Adults, I was worried about you, so I came to see, I didn't expect. Speaking of this, the girl Nariko was already crying. Naruto Hyuga stood up and smiled. I'm fine, you don't have to worry about me. As he spoke, he stroked Nariko's hair with his intact other hand, comforting softly. Ooh. You.'s hurt. Don't do this again, okay? Next time you see someone from the clan, just be patient. Just treat it for me. I'm really afraid that you will be like your brother. The girl Nariko cried. Katakana middle dot 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 0. Hyuga's face stiffened, his face twitched twice, but he still smiled. Don't worry, I promise you, I will definitely hold back next time. Really? Asked the girl Nariko. Of course, I promise you, Hyuga Naruto said sincerely. The girl Nariko was relieved, and then she helped Hyuga Naruto and said, let's go back, I will treat your wounds. Hyuga Naruto shook his head and said, it's alright, I'll just deal with it later, I still have something to do now, don't worry, I'll go to you when I'm done. The girl Nariko was still a little worried, but seeing him say so, she had to let him go. Point 0. Go back first, be obedient. The girl Nariko couldn't beat Naruto Hyuga, so she had to leave first. After she left, Naruto Hyuga's face darkened, but he seemed to have thought of something, so he quickly restrained his expression and took a deep breath. After taking a breath, he glanced at the direction of the Hyuga clan and left without expression. Shi Shangyang followed silently, and after a while, he followed Hyuga Naruto to a cemetery. This is the place where the Hyuga clan buried their clan members. Special, the death of their clan is handled by the family. Hyuga Naruto came to a tombstone with the name Hyuga Naoya written on the tombstone. After coming here, Hyuga Naruto's face could no longer be controlled, showing hatred and sad. Brother, obviously you just refuted that guy. Why are you punished? And you died in battle for the village, but you can't even enter the memorial tablet. Why is this? 5. He wanted to find an answer, but unfortunately, no one can answer this answer. And Shi Shangyang did not feel any surprise from the beginning to the end. Under absolute power, it often brings only oppression, regardless of the fact that the Zong family and the branch house are one. Yes, but the long-standing master's power in the hands of the sect has made their mentality already different. Perhaps in the eyes of the sect, the members of the branch house are more like tools than the same family. Like Naruto Hyuga's brother, this tragedy is definitely not an exception among the Hyuga family. Chapter 126 The Hatred of the Branch House Against the Clan. Please subscribe. Hyuga Naoto clenched his fists and stood in front of the tombstone, and he could see that he was extremely angry at this time, as if he was immersed in his own memories and was not very sensitive to the outside world. The sound of footsteps came, and it only woke him up when it approached. Turning his head, when he saw a man in a purple kabuto hat and robe, Hyuga's expression suddenly changed, and he looked extremely vigilant. "Who are you?" The person who came was naturally Shi Shangyang. He was wearing a mask at this time. He has grown a little taller in more than 3 months, but he is still a little shorter than Hyuga, but it is not important. After hearing this, he chuckled and said, "I feel your anger." Hyuga Naoto was very alert, and subconsciously opened his eyes and used perspective, trying to see Shi Shangyang's appearance clearly. But what surprised him was that the mask actually blocked the perspective of his eyes, so that he couldn't see what the person looked like. The mask was specially made by Shi 890 Shangyang, using wood-style material, which also contains a special chakra seal, so it can block the perspective of white eyes, but he still took the mask off. After seeing who was coming, Hyuga Naoto frowned. He didn't know Shi Shangyang or heard the name Shi Shangyang. He was just a chunin of the Hyuga branch house, and the war was far away for him. "Who are you?" he asked again. Shi Shangyang smiled and said, "Introduce myself, my name is Shi Shangyang." Hyuga Naoto said solemnly, "Young man, this is not a place for you to come. Now, you need to tell me how you got here." This is the cemetery of the Hyuga clan. It is located in the depths of the Hyuga clan. Very few people come here on weekdays. Although there are no defenders, it is also a special area among the Hyuga clan, and outsiders cannot enter at all. Shi Shangyang shrugged. "Forgot to tell you, I'm a traitor, Konoha's traitor." Hyuga Naoto's expression changed, his vigilance immediately turned into a defensive action, and at the same time he pulled out kunai. But at this moment, Shi Shangyang appeared in front of him very suddenly, grabbed Hyuga Naoto's hand holding kunai with one hand, got very close, and said in his ear, "You hate Hyuga so much, Zong family, right?" Naoto Hyuga's face changed drastically, and he didn't care about anything else, and launched a counterattack directly against Shi Shangyang. But his counterattack was easily flashed by Shi Shangyang, and he appeared behind him with a flick of the body. With a slight hook of one foot, he pushed forward smoothly, and Hyuga Jito fell to the ground with a thud. A ninja knife was placed on Hyuga Naoto's neck, causing him to freeze in place subconsciously. Advertisement. Shi Shangyang squatted down, smiling unchanged. "Don't be nervous, I have no ill will towards you, otherwise, you should be dead now." "What do you want to do?" Hyuga asked in a deep voice. Shi Shangyang chuckled. "If I said, I want to destroy Konoha, what would you do?" "What?" Hyuga Naoto widened his eyes, as if he had heard something terrible. "Haha, just kidding, I have no plans to destroy Konoha for the time being, but I am very interested in you." Shi Shangyang put away the ninja sword, and pulled Hyuga Naoto up with one hand, and patted the dust on his body, and then said, "In your eyes, I can see your hatred for the Zong family. Do you want to take revenge on the Zong family?" Naoto Hyuga's expression changed greatly, as if he became very nervous after the secret in his heart was discovered. "It looks like it is. The unwillingness in your eyes can't deceive people, but you are a branch house, and you were planted by the Zong family. Curse mark. Caged bird. Now you face the Zong family. You obviously have a deep hatred, but you can't do anything, indeed very unhappy." 5. Shi Shangyang seemed to be talking to himself, but these words fell into Hyuga's ears, but it brought back those bad memories of his past. The death of his brother, and his own experiences in the past, all caused the anger in his heart to surge. "What do you want to do?" he said bitterly. Even if the other party was a little uneasy and kind, he still couldn't hide his anger and hatred towards the Zong family at this time. "I think, you may need my help," Shi Shangyang laughed. Naoto Hyuga's expression changed, and he kind of understood what Shi Shangyang meant. "Impossible," he said directly. Shi Shangyang didn't get angry at all, and continued. "It's not necessary to say so absolutely, maybe when you really get to know me, you won't have this kind of thinking anymore, you don't have much chance, if you give up this opportunity. If so, let's be honest as your Hyuga branch house in the future." He turned around and walked forward. Naoto Hyuga looked at Shi Shangyang's back with a gloomy expression on his face. After several hesitations, he finally couldn't help but speak out. "And many more." Shi Shangyang stood still, the corners of his mouth were slightly raised, and then he regained his composure, and turned around in confusion. "Why, have you made up your mind?" Advertisement. Hyuga opened his mouth to speak, but at this moment he didn't know what to say. "Looks like you haven't made up your mind yet." 33 Shi Shangyang said again. Suddenly, Hyuga Naoto said, "No, I need strength, I want revenge on the Hyuga clan." 35. Shi Shangyang was not surprised, but smiled and said, "Can you tell me why?" Hyuga stared straight at Shi Shangyang for a moment, then took a deep breath and said, "Because the Zong family killed my parents and my brother." In his narration, Shi Shangyang learned why the other party has such deep hatred for the Hyuga clan. It's a bit cliché, because Hyuga Naoto's parents are also Hyuga branch house. Father was executed directly for showing hatred to the young master of Hyuga clan. Mother was also punished for failing to take care of Hyuga clan's responsibilities. After his father died, he died of depression. His elder brother was sent to the battlefield to die because he refuted a member of the clan, but because of the tradition of the Hyuga family, his name could not be listed on the memorial tablet. It is because of all these, coupled with his own experience, that he is full of hatred for the Hyuga clan. Are there many people like you in the Hyuga clan? Shi Shangyang asked. Naruto Hyuga shook his head slightly. I don't know, but there are a lot of complaints about the Sung family in the branch house. Shi Shangyang nodded slightly, already knowing the general situation. 3.0 is similar to what he guessed. In such a family atmosphere, the Hyuga family can continue to this day, which is not a small miracle in Shi Shangyang's view. If there is no curse mark, caged bird, I am afraid that this family will be in an instant, it fell apart. So the crux of the problem lies in curse mark, caged bird. Do you want to unlock caged bird? Shi Shangyang asked again. Hyuga's face changed drastically, revealing surprise, and subconsciously said, Can you unlock caged bird? Shi Shangyang shook his head, just as Hyuga Naruto showed disappointment, he said, But if you want to unravel caged bird, it's not that there is no way. 99. Tell me how, Hyuga said straight. Shi Shangyang laughed. So, what can you give? 55. Hyuga strayed on one knee. My loyalty and my life. Chapter 127 Curse Mark. Caged bird. He. Shi Shangyang laughed lightly and did not respond to Hyuga Naruto's words. Instead, he came to him and looked at him carefully. Hyuga Naruto doesn't know why, in fact, since just now, he has been very flustered, otherwise he would not suddenly make the move to kneel on one knee. Obviously the other party is a boy younger than himself, and it is impossible for him to do so. Do this directly, but why do you do it yourself? He couldn't figure out this question, so he raised his head subconsciously and met Shi Shangyang's eyes. What kind of eyes are those? The lavender eyeballs have a circle of regular circular patterns on them, from big to small, all the way to the pupil position. There is a kind of bewitching and eccentric beauty. Under that line of sight, Hyuga Naruto only felt that he was being seen through from the inside out, a feeling that was even more terrifying than being exposed to the eyes of other clansmen. It seemed that under this kind of line of sight, he had nothing. General secret. Shi Shangyang removed the Konoha forehead protector from Naruto Hyuga's forehead, and looked at it carefully. On its forehead is the Hyuga's unique curse mark, caged bird, which can be seen in Shi Shangyang's line of sight. A strand of chakra is connected to this curse mark, and the other end is connected to Hyuga's straight eyes. Not only that, the 14-karat chakra on the mantra is connected to the eyes, and at the same time, it is also connected to the brain of Hyuga straight through the optic nerve. This strand of chakra has covered almost every part of his brain, which is very messy. With just this glance, Shi Shangyang understood the working principle of curse mark, caged bird. This thing is completely a one-time curse mark. The one-time use here means that the casting of the curse mark is one-time and irreversible. There is no such thing as a release, because the special chakra of this curse mark is cast from the moment it is cast. There is only one function, that is, to limit the eyes of the subject, and chakra connects to the brain. The chakra connected to the brain cannot find the law, that is, disorder. In other words, two Hyuga tribes who have also been planted with curse mark. Caged bird. The chakra law of the connection between the two curse marks and the brain is completely different, yes, with randomness. It is not difficult to cut off the chakra of the curse seal, but how to find the law of the effect of the curse seal chakra is a problem, and curse mark. The biggest problem of caged bird is this, it just has no rules at all, so it is said that the curse seal is a one-time sexual. Tisk tisk, the guy who invented this spell seal is also a genius, Shi Shangyang muttered to himself. As he observed, under the shroud of his pupil strength, Hyuga Naruto seemed to be facing his natural enemy, his forehead was drenched in cold sweat, and his body gradually began to tremble. He didn't know what happened, but under that gaze, the fear in his heart was magnified infinitely, and now he couldn't have the idea of standing up. This is the pressure brought by Shi Shangyang's pupil power, and this is because Shi Shangyang deliberately controlled it. Otherwise, under his pupil power, Hyuga Naruto would probably faint in an instant. Advertisement. After a while, Shi Shangyang withdrew his gaze, Rinnegan disappeared and returned to his original appearance. Without the gaze of pupil power, Hyuga Naruto felt the pressure loosen, but his body felt as if he had been salvaged from the water, and he felt a sense of collapse. It's not easy to solve this curse, Shi Shangyang said. Naruto Hyuga's face froze, and the hope in his heart turned into disappointment. However, it's not completely impossible, Shi Shangyang laughed again. Hyuga straight up looked up with anticipation on his face. People who are not from Hyuga branch house do not know the meaning of curse mark. Caged bird. Under this curse mark, people in branch house are just caged birds, yearning for the freedom of the sky, but without the ability and courage to open the cage. From life to death, he is forever confined in the cage, which is extremely miserable. Hyuga Naruto does not want to break away from this restriction all the time, but he knows that he is just like this in his life, not only himself, but also the children in the future. This is the fate of the Hyuga branch house, it is impossible to be changed. But now, someone told him that this impossible could also become possible. How could it make him unhappy? Happiness is not enough to describe his mood at the moment. Ecstasy? Excited? Or some other emotion? In short, Naruto Hyuga's emotions at this time are extremely complicated. It is a kind of expectation but also doubts, and doubts are mixed with a complex feeling of longing. Even he himself does not know what he is thinking at this moment. Shi Shangyang understood his eyes and smiled slightly. Then, in order to accept your allegiance, at the same time, I promise to get rid of curse mark. Caged bird for you, do you need to confirm again? Hyuga Naoto took a deep breath, suppressed the uncontrollable violent heartbeat, and trembled. As long as you can get rid of curse mark. Caged bird, I will do what I promised. The corners of Shi Shangyang's mouth twitched, and without talking nonsense, he stretched out 2 fingers and gently pressed it on Hyuga's forehead. Advertisement: the fingers that were supposed to be on Hyuga's forehead suddenly penetrated directly, and Shi Shangyang's 2 fingers entered his brain. Naoto Hyuga, who has white eyes, naturally saw this scene in his eyes widened, and he subconsciously wanted to avoid it. Don't move. Shi Shangyang said softly. Hyuga's body stiffened, but his heart was horrified. Baiyan's eyesight angle is very wide, even the Baiyan of the branch house is the same, but the angle is not as perfect as the Baiyan 360-degree of the Hyuga family, but you can easily see the movements of Shi Shangyang's 2 fingers. This is naturally Kamui's hollow ability. Shi Shangyang's 2 fingers, after entering Hyuga Naoto's head, stayed on the cerebral cortex, and then ink-colored incantations emerged from the branches, like tiny tadpoles, and soon covered Hyuga straight people's brains. Hyuga Naoto's spirit began to go into a trance, and at this moment he lost control of his body. However, Shi Shangyang 890's movements did not stop, carefully depicting the spell seal. All he had to do was to temporarily seal those chakras on his brain. This is a special seal whose essence is not to seal curse mark. Caged bird's chakra, but to seal Naoto Hyuga's brain, making the connection with curse mark. Caged bird chakra weakened rather than disconnected. Because of the particularity of curse mark, caged bird, it has been decided that after the chakra is disconnected, the full power of the curse mark will directly explode, instantly destroying the brain and white eyes, so Shi Shangyang can only use this method to weaken the curse mark temporarily. The role of caged bird. Alright. After a moment, Shi Shangyang withdrew his hand. Hyuga Naoto was in a trance for a moment before he regained his senses, a little dazed. Now Baiyan is still restricted by curse mark. Caged bird, but I used a special method to bypass the punishment mechanism in curse mark. Caged bird. That is to say, from now on, the Hyuga clan has no way to deal with it. You implemented it, Shi Shangyang said. Hyuga Naoto opened his mouth slightly, his lips trembling, but he didn't know what to say at this time. If I want to get rid of caged bird completely, I need to study it carefully, so don't worry. Shi Shangyang patted him on the shoulder, then turned his back, looked at the Hyuga family land, and said in a calm tone. I want to take away part of the Hyuga branch house. Do you think this plan is feasible? Chapter 128. Get a pair of eyes, please subscribe. Hyuga Naoto couldn't help but widen his eyes. At this moment, he knew what Shi Shangyang's plan was, and at the same time, his heart shook. If he can really do this, wouldn't the whole Hyuga family fall apart? After thinking about it, Naoto Hyuga began to think about the feasibility of this matter. He has now changed his mind and knew that from now on, he will do things according to the ideas of the young man in front of him, but he does not feel sad at all, on the contrary, very excited. Just because of caged bird's restrictions on his freedom, at this moment finally news, he will no longer have to live in the shadow of curse mark. Caged bird from now on. Yes, there are many branch houses in the clan, who secretly have negative views on the clan. If they win over this part of the family, they will definitely be willing, but it's just that the shrouded bird spell needs to be lifted, right? Shi Shangyang laughed. Yes. Hyuga nodded straight. Ha ha. Shi Shangyang laughed, then walked forward without looking back, and said at the same time. Go and contact those people and tell them that I can suppress curse mark. Caged bird, but if you want to really release it, then go to time to follow me. 99. You. Lord? Hyuga Naoto changed his mouth and wanted to say something, but saw Shi Shangyang wave his hand without Kaido. Go for it, you can contact me if you need it, and I can sense it by sending chakra into this thing. Laugh. Especially made kunai was tied at the feet of Hyuga Naoto, and when Hyuga Naoto looked up, Shi Shangyang was no longer in sight. He picked up Kunwu and held it tightly in his hand, as if this thing was a key to freedom. He hurriedly put it away, and then restrained his emotions, but his mind was full of thoughts on how to accomplish what the other party explained. Shi Shangyang left the Hyuga clan, but he was in a good mood. The meeting with Naoto Hyuga was just an accident, but now it seems that the harvest is not small. He held a golden card between his fingers, which was just dropped by Hyuga Naoto, and the description on the card was what Shi Shangyang cared about the most. Drip. Congratulations to the host for getting an item card and a pair of white eyes, disabled. Drip. Congratulations to the item card, a pair of white eyes, disabled, obtained by the host, which has been increased by 9 times, and has been upgraded to an item card and a pair of white eyes, perfect. Shi Shangyang was very surprised that Hyuga Naoto would pop out this card. This is a pair of white eyes. He has never thought about this situation. Now it seems that since the white eyes can pop out, doesn't it mean that other eyes can also pop out? Advertisement Sharingan should be fine too, right? So see Nagato again, will he break out a pair of Rinnegan's? After seeing Otsutsuki, will other eyes pop out? If it goes on like this, wouldn't the eyes really become beauty contact lenses for him, and he can change them whenever he wants? Thinking of this, Shi Shangyang was more or less excited. I'm really looking forward to that day. Shi Shangyang put the card into the card bag, This thing can be used in the future, and now, he still has to find Orochimaru first. Konoha village is the strongest ninja village in the ninja world, but it is not the largest ninja village in the ninja world, but even if it is not the largest, it is still not small for individuals. If you want to find someone in such a place, unless Shi Shangyang is in Konoha, some of them have hands and status, otherwise it would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. But Shi Shangyang lacks everything else, just not lack of time. Konoha is almost undefended for him now, and he naturally has no pressure when he is in it, so he looks for it carefully. Then, he really let him find some clues, because he found Mitarashi Anko. Speaking of Mitarashi Anko, in fact, Shi Shangyang's original body has this memory in his memory, because she is a ninja student in the lower Shi Shangyang world and is still studying in the ninja school, but Shi Shangyang knows that at this point in time, Mitarashi Anko has become Orochimaru's student, so as long as you follow her, you will surely meet Orochimaru. Then, he started his tracking career. To be honest, following a little girl is a very boring thing, especially since he is only 12 years old now, and the other party is only a teenage girl, it is even more boring. But there is no way, this is the way to find Orochimaru. Fortunately, the hard work paid off, and after following it for a few days, he finally saw hope. On this day, Shi Shangyang followed Mitarashi Anko by hiding his figure as usual, and the latter did not stay at home during the school's holiday today, but instead walked towards the outskirts of the village. Followed all the way, and came to the edge of the village in a short time. There are few people here, and the surrounding trees are gradually denser. When Shi Shangyang saw it, he immediately understood. Advertisement going a little further, you will be close to the Forest of Death, which is a dangerous place among the leaves, and if Orochimaru puts his secret base here, it is indeed difficult to be discovered. Shi Shangyang thought it would be here, but the Forest of Death is really not small, and finding a hidden stronghold in it is actually more difficult than finding someone in Konoha village. After a while, Mitarashi Anko came to a hidden corner of the woods, slapped a big tree 3 times, and then waited quietly. After a while, a human face appeared on the big tree. It was pale, with snake-like vertical pupils. The long hair covered half of the face, and it seemed to have a gloomy temperament. Hee, it's Anko, it's not the right time to come today, you should go back first. This person was none other than Orochimaru, who came out of the big tree, the trunk rippling like water twice, and then calmed down. Why, Orochimaru-sensei? 35 Mitarashi Anko was at a loss. Because I have very important things to do, I'm going out soon, Orochimaru said. Oh, okay, then next time I come over, please remember to teach me new ninjutsu, Mitarashi Anko said. Orochimaru gave a low, Shanos, laugh, nodded slightly, and didn't say much. Shi Shangyang was not at all surprised that he would be found by Orochimaru, because he just leaked his breath on purpose, so that Orochimaru could detect it in advance, otherwise, he just jumped out like this. With Mitarashi Anko present, there are many words that can't be said. Mitarashi Anko came full of hope, but left with depression, but Orochimaru's attention was not on his own disciple, but looked at the place where Shi Shangyang was hiding, and sneered. Orochimaru cooperated unexpectedly, thinking that she didn't want her disciples to know that someone was following her. First meeting, Cold-kun Orochimaru Yun. Orochimaru of this period seems to have not reached the level of madness after the original plot betrayed Konoha. Follow that idiot, are you here to find me? Orochimaru said. Shi Shangyang came out from the dark. Chapter 129 Sharingan and Orochimaru, please subscribe. At this time, Shi Shangyang was still dressed in the codename Tien, and at the same time, he also used a mask to show people, and did not show his true colors. Seeing that the people who come here are not high level, and their voices are still immature, Orochimaru can naturally tell the age of the people at a glance, and sneer. Where is the kid from? You are really brave, you dare to follow here. Come, are you not afraid that I will kill you? As he spoke, Orochimaru had murderous intent bursting out of his body. That was the murderous intent of a ninja named Sanin. It was an aura tempered from blood and fire. If an ordinary ninja were to face it, he might be shocked first. But this kind of aura is nothing to Shi Shangyang at all. After all, he has even faced the aura of Uchiha Madara in the ninja world, and he is so oblivious under that kind of aura. Naturally, he will not because of this momentum, there is something different. It is supposed to be a relief to show his identity. Every time Shi Shangyang exposes his identity, it is actually a purpose. Because he is young, showing his true face will surprise the other party, even if it is a little surprised, as long as there are mood swings, it may explode, which is a gain for Shi Shangyang. He wouldn't dislike too many cards, so he kept this habit. In addition, if 890 Guo shows his face in front of someone he knows, the shock will be even greater, and there will be a greater chance for him to reveal high-level cards, so Shi Shangyang can earn money. Not surprisingly, Orochimaru did have mood swings after seeing Shi Shangyang's face, but unfortunately it was very shallow, so only a white ninja card was revealed. This guy is the most stingy among the powerful ninjas Shi Shangyang has encountered, and he is reluctant to explode even a high-level card. Shi Shangyang murmured inwardly, but with a smile on his face. Leng-kun Orochimaru, one of the Sanins, seems to be a little unwelcome to guests. His smile had a professional smirk, a very standard social smile, but in Orochimaru's eyes, it was provocative. Orochimaru also smiled, but his smile was a little cold, more like a smile that concealed his own feelings. No one knew what this guy was thinking under that smile, and he didn't reveal his heart at all. To be honest, the laughter of the two of them is not pure, it is quite a kind of appearance of two actors meeting. Orochimaru saw the forehead protector on Shi Shangyang's forehead and the scratch on the forehead protector. His eyes narrowed slightly. Is it the rebellion in the village? Kid, you really surprised me. Shi Shangyang's smile remained unchanged, and he said, it seems that you haven't come out for a long time. Has the news been out of line? I think I'm still somewhat famous in Konoha. You've been underestimated. You're the kid named Shi Shangyang? Orochimaru also didn't change his expression, still smiling. Advertisement. Shi Shangyang raised his eyebrows slightly, nodded slightly and said, yes, it's my honor to be remembered by Lord Orochimaru, I'm very happy. Orochimaru stretched out the snake's head and made the iconic lip-adding motion, and said with a cold smile. Then, since you are a rebel but dared appear in front of me, kid, do you want to die? Shi Shangyang shook his head. I don't see it. Does Lord Orochimaru also have a nostalgia for the village? I thought that a person like Lord Orochimaru should have gone beyond the confines of the village long ago. It seems that I was wrong. What? Orochimaru narrowed his eyes slightly, let out a few deep laughter, and the corners of his mouth gradually grinned, and said, little brat, I'm a Konoha shinobi, it's normal to arrest rebel for Konoha. It seemed that he was ready to start, but Shi Shangyang didn't care at all, and instead smiled brightly. Really, stop thinking about it, he asked. The sharp-mouthed kid, like that guy, talking too much is not a good thing. Shi Shangyang shook his head slightly and sighed. It seems that the negotiation failed. HMPH, kid, tell me your purpose, Orochimaru said. Shi Shangyang raised his eyebrows, then withdrew his smile and said sternly, I'm here to recruit you, Orochimaru, beta. To recruit me? Orochimaru was slightly startled, and then grew up in size. Ha ha ha, kid, do you know who you were talking to? Shi Shangyang didn't care about Orochimaru's sarcastic attitude at all, but instead said sternly, help me do things, and I will help you realize your ambitions. Orochimaru seemed a little impatient, raised his hand slowly, and said at the same time, my ambition? Do you know what my ambition is? Is it right to pursue a longer life? Shi Shangyang snapped. Orochimaru's hands froze, his eyes suddenly burst with murderous intent, and he stared at Shi Shangyang, as if he wanted to see something on his face. Advertisement, I'm surprised why I know your ambitions, Shi Shangyang laughed. Orochimaru was silent. It's very simple, because you are Orochimaru, snakes shed their skins and hibernate, and they do all this for survival. There is no fear of life in your eyes, but only fear of death. I look at people very exactly, you can't lie to me, so, do you want to cooperate with me? Shi Shangyang smiled again. Although I don't know where you guessed these things, kid, if you want to recruit me, you have to show me your abilities first. I don't think that just a kid can have it. Facing my courage, Orochimaru said. Shi Shangyang grinned, pointed to his eyes and said, it's these eyes that gave me the courage to face you. Do you want to try the power of these eyes? Orochimaru grinned likewise, then lowered his body slightly, took a pre-attack posture and said, Sharingan? I haven't played against Uchiha's people yet. Kid, let me see Uchiha's power. Shi Shangyang said, I'm not Uchiha, and my eyes are not as simple as Sharingan. Since you want to try, then I naturally have to satisfy you. When the words fell, his eyes were activated to Mangekyo state, and the pupil power in his right eye was activated at the same time. Yan Shou, please taste it. The next moment, Orochimaru's face froze. Faced with this situation, Orochimaru's heart sank slightly. He knew that he might encounter a strong enemy today. In Orochimaru's line of sight, a pair of blood-red eyes gradually enlarged until they filled all corners of the line of sight. At this moment, the sky and the earth were blood-red, and the rest was the black spinning under the weird thread, like a black hole, attracting with all the spirit of Orochimaru. This is an illusion. If you admit defeat, I will solve it for you. Please subscribe. A guy who was almost stared to death by Itachi, how could he still be ashamed? Don't underestimate me, kid. Shi Shangyang's voice came from all directions, and Orochimaru laughed in a low voice, added his tongue to his lower lip, and then his face darkened. Outside, Shi Shangyang pouted and sat down beside a tree. He was very vigilant, knowing that he was hit by an illusion, so he directly used the seal to unlock the illusion, but it had no effect. Chapter 130 Orochimaru's Research Talent. Please subscribe. To deal with Orochimaru, Shi Shangyang doesn't even need to do anything. He knows very well what the problem is with this guy. To solve him, he only needs to use illusion. The original plot has already stated this clearly, and Shi Shangyang is naturally clear. In his opinion, Orochimaru is the kind of powerful ninja with high combat IQ, sufficient chakra, comprehensive ninjutsu and various means, but his shortcomings are also very obvious, that is, weak mental protection. Orochimaru is naturally not afraid of ordinary illusions. Basically, a ninja of his level has no worries about ordinary illusions, but only Mangekyo level illusions are something he cannot resist no matter what. Shi Shangyang's eyes, from opening Sharingan, to opening Mangekyo, Eternal Mangekyo, just opening Rinnegan, followed the orthodox path of Uchiha Madara, so it only needs to use the amount of pupil power to stimulate these eyes. Different states. It can be Sharingan, it can be Mangekyo, it can also be Rinnegan, it just depends on what he thinks. He only discovered this recently, Before that, when he awakened Rinnegan, he thought that these eyes could only maintain this state in the future. When Tongli checked the child's condition, it was considered that he had completed a combing of his own abilities, which was how he could do this. Now, even if he lost the pair of Rinnegans and replaced them with a pair of ordinary Sharingans, he would still be able to force the ordinary Sharingans into Mangekyo or Eternal Mangekyo with his pupil power. At this point, he can achieve the same level as Uchiha Madara. This is a digression, let's put it aside for a while and return to the field. Orochimaru is like performing a mime. The whole person stands on the spot, his face is grim, his teeth and claws are dancing, and he seals from time to time, but there is no ninjutsu released. In his sight, or in the spiritual world, there is a fierce battle going on, and his target is Shi Shangyang. If the picture is assembled, it is roughly that Shi Shangyang was haunted, fighting with him in the forest, and the two used ninjutsu to blast each other, destroying a large area of the forest, and soon this area was destroyed. But in reality, Shi Shangyang just sat against a tree, resting his chin in one hand, watching Orochimaru's performance with a smile. The ability of Nightmare Show can control people's five senses. In the scene woven by Shi Shangyang, even if Orochimaru has found something wrong, he can't really wake up at all, so it is normal to fall into it. Time passed by, almost 10 minutes later, Orochimaru groaned suddenly, then staggered a few steps while clutching his chest, eyes closed, and when he opened his eyes again, he saw Shi Shangyang sitting beside a tree. Advertisement immediately, Orochimaru's face changed suddenly, as if he couldn't believe what was happening in front of him. UB******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Orochimaru said hoarsely. Oh yes, then I really want to congratulate you. Shi Shangyang was still smiling. Is it all fake just now? Orochimaru said solemnly. Why not? 35 Shi Shangyang stood up, patted the ashes on his body casually, and said with a chuckle, have you seen how powerful Sharingan is now? Do you have any ideas? Orochimaru's face was gloomy and uncertain. He was sure that the battle just now was real, because he didn't have any feeling to tell him that it was fake, and he didn't feel that something was wrong. At first, he knew that he had fallen into the illusion, but soon he broke the illusion with experience, then found Shi Shangyang, fought fiercely with him, and finally won the victory at a considerable cost. But as soon as the picture changed, he saw Shi Shangyang appearing in front of him intact. This scene made him unbelievable. Everything you have experienced just now is actually fake? He didn't know that Shi Shangyang knew all about his intelligence, so he could construct a near-real scene for him based on that intelligence. Of course, Shi Shangyang wouldn't say these things, so that Orochimaru could know how powerful it was. Now, does Lord Orochimaru know my sincerity? Do you want to continue the fight? Shi Shangyang walked towards him slowly, speaking at the same time. At the same time, he also collected a golden card. This is the card that just popped out of Orochimaru, and it's finally not so stingy. Advertisement. Orochimaru has his own pride. From being a civilian ninja to the present level, Orochimaru has absolute confidence in himself. In addition to his character, there are few major emotional fluctuations. Some like it's as cold as a snake. Katakana middle dot katakana middle dot katakana middle dot seeking flowers katakana middle dot 0. But it is also like this, when something beyond his master happens, the shock to him will be stronger. And Shi Shangyang just grasped this characteristic of his character and knew that with ordinary battles, even if he defeated Orochimaru, it would not make Orochimaru feel anything, because Orochimaru is the kind of person who can easily accept his failure. And using illusion to play it from beginning to end is the most shocking thing for people like Orochimaru. No, the gold card came out, and Shi Shangyang knew he had done the right thing. Drop. Congratulations to host for obtaining the research talent of the ability card Orochimaru. Close black lens bracket. But now, with Orochimaru's research talent, Shi Shangyang, coupled with his wide-eyed vision as a traverser, is confident that he can compete with these two people in this regard. Another talent-type ability card. Shi Shangyang was overjoyed. What he valued most about Orochimaru was his ability to explore the unknown. It was a bit like second Hokage Senju Tobirama. The two were considered to be the same type of ninja. Who is stronger in this respect, Shi Shangyang can't say. Point 0. Let's put it this way, as a traveler, even if he has a system, he is more inclined to be able to research something by himself. This is the impulse generated by past knowledge and local rules, and Shi Shangyang is no exception. Please subscribe. Only. Before that Shi Shangyang wasn't sure how far he could do it, but now, he suddenly wanted to do some research, and the underground base research room in TNG village was prepared for this in advance. He understood early, his extensive knowledge and broad horizons will come in handy sooner or later. Combining Flying Thunder God and Impure World Reincarnation, second Hokage Senju Tobirama may seem stronger, but combined with the undead reincarnation and cloning technology in the original plot, Orochimaru does not seem to be weak, so it is difficult to make a comparison between the two. Dip. Congratulations to the ability card obtained by host. Orochimaru's research talent has been increased by 7 times, and it has been upgraded to ability card. Orochimaru's research talent, can gold card. But for Shi Shangyang, it is precisely this kind of Orochimaru that he likes the most. Chapter 131 Shi Shangyang's Solicitation. Please subscribe. Orochimaru is now wary, and it can even be said that Shi Shangyang has an inexplicable fear. This kind of fear should not appear in a person like him, but Shi Shangyang's relaxed appearance and the illusion he used just now all prove that Shi Shangyang is his natural enemy. What happens if a snake encounters a natural enemy? This point Orochimaru can't be more clear: without fangs, no place to hide, exposed to the sight of natural enemies, then the final fate of this snake is only death. Orochimaru gritted his teeth. He didn't expect that Sharingan was so powerful. Previous research made him not pay attention to Tongshu Shuiji at all, but now, he is eager to get a pair of Sharingan to study. The premise is that he can successfully escape from Shi Shangyang. Shi Shangyang stood 2 meters in front of Orochimaru, lightly touched his eye socket with his hand, and said with a smile, "This is not an ordinary Sharingan," the words of 890. 3 Tomo Sharingan can't pose any danger to you, but the eyes are different because this is the Mangekyo Sharingan, the ultimate state of Sharingan. 359. Strictly speaking, this is true, because the eternal Mangekyo only supplements the loopholes of ordinary Mangekyo, so that there is no danger of blindness due to pupil exhaustion. The two are essentially registered pupils in blood, so they are called Sharingan. There is nothing wrong with the end state. Rinnegan is a completely different kind of pupil technique, and it is fundamentally different from Sharingan. Hearing what Shi Shangyang said, Orochimaru stuck out his tongue and added his lower lip, and smiled sullenly. "It's really scary, kid." "Really, I didn't see it." Shi Shangyang chuckled lightly, then took out a small glass bottle from his arms, and inside the glass bottle were 2 fresh Sharingans. "This is Sharingan. Do you want it?" The pair of Sharingan he took out were naturally the 2 eyes he got from Uchiha Madara, but they were only in 3 Tomo state, and Uchiha Madara left them behind, but it was perfect for recruiting Orochimaru. Especially after this guy saw the power of Sharingan, Shi Shangyang knew that Orochimaru would definitely get this thing at any cost. Sure enough, seeing this scene, Orochimaru immediately put his eyes on the thing in Shi Shangyang's hands, narrowed his eyes slightly, and showed a trace of greed on his face. Orochimaru didn't hide his desire for Sharingan because he knew that he couldn't hide it at all in the presence of Shi Shangyang. "Want it?" Shi Shangyang asked. "Advertisement." Orochimaru sneered. "What price will I pay?" Both were direct and didn't beat around the bush. "It's very simple, I need your talent," Shi Shangyang said. He knew very well that Orochimaru at this stage could not be subordinate to others, and he didn't need Orochimaru to be his subordinate. As long as this guy was willing to help him, after a long time, he would have the means to clean up Orochimaru. Shi Shangyang has absolute confidence in this aspect, because his innate conditions are really good. Let's put it this way, Orochimaru's position in Konoha is very embarrassing at this time. As Konoha Sannin, he has lost the possibility of competing for 4th Hokage, just because he and Danzo are too close. He has lost trust in the Hokage family. Don't think that 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen is an old fool. In fact, what Shimura Danzo did, Sarutobi Hiruzen knew. In the original plot, Danzo attacked the Fire Country daimyo. 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen did after resigning as Hokage. The first thing is to promote the 4th generation head Namikaze Minato to the top, completely blocking Danzo's way. From this, it can be seen that Sarutobi Hiruzen's methods are not bad at all, he is just a little indecisive. In fact, Shi Shangyang can understand Sarutobi Hiruzen quite a bit. If he were not a transmigrator, he would not have done better than Sarutobi Hiruzen in that situation. Come to think of it, what was it like when Sarutobi Hiruzen became Hokage? A few years after the death of 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, the Second Ninja World War broke out. 2nd Hokage Senju Tobarama died in battle. Uchiha in Konoha was eccentric, and the first thing to do was to stabilize the situation, without Sarutobi Hiruzen. With careful maintenance day after day, Konoha absolutely cannot be in this state. That's why Shi Shangyang felt that, on the premise that he was not a transmigrator, he might not necessarily be better than Sarutobi Hiruzen. Pull away. Having said that, such a Sarutobi Hiruzen takes the stability of Konoha very seriously, and it is precisely because of this that he is hesitant in many things, but only when it comes to the stability of Konoha, he will never give up. So from the beginning, Shimura Danzo had no possibility of getting his hands on Hokage's location, and Orochimaru, who was so close to Shimura Danzo at this stage, naturally couldn't have the slightest hope. Shi Shangyang estimates that the current Namikaze Minato has been changed to a Hokage alternative, and the replacement of Hokage should be put on the agenda only after the situation in the ninja world is stabilized. Orochimaru now obviously knows this, so he uses Shimura Danzo's relationship to secretly obtain favorable conditions to carry out the experiments he wants. There is no doubt that Orochimaru at this point in time is doing the wood-style blood follow-up experiment, or the kind of human experiment that Konoha does not allow. This thing is taboo in Konoha, but in Shimura Danzo and Orochimaru, it is not, is a normal thing. And what are the advantages of Shi Shangyang? Advertisement. Compared to Shimura Danzo and Orochimaru, his mind is more open-minded. Isn't it just human experiments? How many villains are there in the ninja world? Just grab it, and Shi Shangyang can provide whatever experimental conditions you want. With such good conditions, after a long time, Orochimaru is not happy to die? With Shi Shangyang providing backing and financial support, and a stable experimental environment, it is better than letting Orochimaru slowly run his own power from scratch. This is only the second, the most critical, or Shi Shangyang's identification with Orochimaru. Yes, it is recognition. In Shi Shangyang's point of view, the techniques developed by Orochimaru should, strictly speaking, be a kind of technological progress, especially the immortality reincarnation, which has gradually grasped the secret of immortality, which is not a simple thing. Therefore, Shi Shangyang is not guaranteed to change to other people, but Shi Shangyang is 100 peace of mind when replaced by Orochimaru. As long as Orochimaru is not in a rut, he should know how to choose at that time. He. Do you want me to do things for you? Orochimaru grinned. Shi Shangyang threw the two Sharingan at random and said with a smile, strictly speaking, it should be a kind of cooperation. I will provide you with a stable environment, as well as various material foundations you need, and what you have to do, is to give full play to your talents. How about it, is it exciting? Orochimaru stared at the two Sharingans in his hands, and his smile became wanton. You really moved me, kid. Orochimaru added his lower lip and said with a low smile, He, it's a pity, that guy hasn't been in Konoha recently. Shi Shangyang chuckled. Of course he killed that guy. Shi Shangyang shrugged. You will know later, I have never joked about things like 3.0. I came here with sincerity, and I have no ill intentions towards you, and I only see your talent, so between us you can be more sincere, and you don't need to do the ninja style. What do you want to do? Orochimaru asked. He was also quite straightforward and did not ask Shi Shangyang what he wanted to do, which can be seen from the fact that he joined the Shao organization in the original plot. Shi Shangyang nodded, threw a special kunai, turned around and prepared to leave. Suddenly he stepped back and said, Do you know where Shimura Danzo is now? 55. Please subscribe, is that so? That's really a pity. He, I understand, kid. But give me a moment, I have a lot of things to clean up here, Orochimaru said. Chapter 132 Shao Organization is injured, please subscribe. Shi Shangyang has said that he will definitely kill Shimura Danzo, but he has never thought of taking revenge on his own initiative. As for the reason, he may not believe it, just because he doesn't care about Shimura Danzo, this time. It was just a casual question, he didn't take Shimura Danzo to heart at all. Leaving from Orochimaru, as always, he went directly to the Land of Rain with the Flying Thunder God technique, for no other reason, just because there was a movement from the special kunai left in the hands of the Shao organization. Obviously it was from the Shao organization. People want to meet him. This made Shi Shangyang very curious. He thought that the people on the Shao organization would not use that kunai, but now it seems that something may have happened. Combined with the fact that Shimura Danzo was not in Konoha at this point in time, Shi Shangyang could easily guess where the guy was and what he was doing, so he rushed to the Land of Rain without any hesitation. It has been almost 3 months since he last came here. In the past 3 months, the Land of Rain has become more and more eroded due to the war. Perhaps it is because of Shi Shangyang's last visit. Along the way, the scene I saw was even more dilapidated than last time, showing the devastation of the war on such a small country as the Land of Rain. In less than half an hour, Shi Shangyang arrived at the current stronghold of Shao organization. Appearing in front of Shi Shangyang was a group of wounded, not only injured, but these people seemed to have lost their spirit and energy. All of them were pale and in a trance. Facing the sudden appearance of Shi Shangyang, they just looked up and then followed. They stopped paying attention, as if everything that happened outside had nothing to do with them. Compared to what Shi Shangyang saw last time, the number of people in Shao's organization was reduced by 2/3 this time, and there were only 6 people at the scene. What surprised Shi Shangyang most was that there was no Yahiko in the Nagato trio. Seeing Nagato, Shi Shangyang was slightly surprised by Konan's expression. Where's Yahiko? He asked. Nagato's face was pale, and his body was thinner than the last time. He already felt skin and bones, and even his fiery red hair was now dyed gray. Konan looked at Nagato worriedly, and was silent for a moment before saying, Yahiko is resting. Shi Shangyang was taken aback, isn't Yahiko dead? However, he did not show any doubts, but asked in a deep voice, what happened? Advertisement. Nagato stared at Shi Shangyang. Can I trust you? 9. Shi Shangyang nodded silently when he heard the words, without saying anything nonsense. Seeing this, Nagato closed his eyes slightly, and then said in a hateful tone, We have encountered betrayal. In his narration, Shi Shangyang knows what happened during this time. Perhaps because of his participation, the result is somewhat different from the original plot. After he left from the Akatsuki organization last time, the Akatsuki organization started a new operation, attacking and killing those ninjas from other countries who participated in the war in the Land of Rain. The purpose is to expel ninjas from other countries from the Country of Rain. After more than 2 months, they achieved fruitful results and began to become famous in the Land of Rain, which attracted the attention of Hanzo of the Salamander, the leader of the Land of Rain. What happened later is similar to the original plot. Akatsuki's mission is to achieve peace in the Country of Rain, but it threatens the rule of Hanzo of the Salamander, which Hanzo of the Salamander, the leader of the Country of Rain, absolutely cannot allow. And this one has to mention a key person, Shimura Danzo. Shi Shangyang, who knows the plot, is very clear that Shimura Danzo knew about Nagato's possession of Rinnegan before this. At that time, Shimura Danzo had already decided to kill this potential threat in the cradle. So when Shimura Danzo received the news about Shao's organization in Konoha, it was easy to think of this, and this time it was no accident that Shimura Danzo deceived Hanzo of the Salamander's trust, and then jointly framed it with a planned Shao organization. It may be because of Shi Shangyang, or because of Uchiha Obito. Akatsuki has more eyes than the original plot. Conan was not caught when he signed a contract with Hanzo of the Salamander. There is no such threat. The two sides eventually broke out into a fight. And the result is now, despite Akatsuki's impressive ability, it was unfortunately defeated in the face of the ninja team led by Hanzo of the Salamander, and lost a lot of manpower in that battle. Even Yahiko suffered seriously injured. Encountered with Hanzo of the Salamander's conspiracy, and his companions were killed and injured so much, this was a huge blow to Nagato, Conan and Yahiko, and it was precisely because of this that they had this expression and state. After learning about the process, Shi Shangyang couldn't tell what his state of mind was. He originally wanted to wait for Shao organization to contact him after encountering difficulties, and help him so that he could cooperate with it, but now it seems that this step can be done in advance. Advertisement. So, why did you call me here? In the last meeting, the two sides did not have a deep chat, and Shi Shangyang just had a face-to-face in front of Shao organization and announced his ideas. However, it may be that Shi Shangyang's attitude at the time gave the people in Shao's organization more or less trust, and this time they contacted him as soon as possible after this incident. Nagato was silent for a moment, then said in a hoarse voice, "Help us." This time, Shi Shangyang was really surprised. 890 had a preconceived notion. He felt that Nagato and the others would not take the initiative to help him. At most, it was Yahiko's Chiki, who could seek the original owner of the supplies when they met for the first time. Wouldn't ask him for anything else at all. Because Shi Shangyang can see that the Shao organization at that time did things with kindness. The concept was very immature and ideal, and it was difficult to be persuaded. Now, it seems that this concept has been broken. I didn't expect you to be so naive at this time. It's quite cute. How do you want me to help you? At the same time, what are you going to give? I believe that after experiencing this incident, you should also see the reality of the ninja world clearly. Peace is not negotiated through negotiations. Without the support of strength, everything is it's just Kyoka Suigetsu. He. Are you trying to ask me to expel all those Bizumura ninjas who fought in the Land of Rain? Shi Shangyang did not refuse, and he himself had ideas for Shao organization. Nagato remained silent. Conan raised his head slightly, gritted his teeth a bit and said, "Help us clear the shadows entrenched on the Land of Rain." Yes. 35 Shi Shangyang suddenly laughed. Chapter 133 Reincarnation 6 Paths Technique, subscription required. It seems that they didn't expect Shi Shangyang to say such a thing. Nagato and Conan were stunned, and the other four also changed their expressions. After suffering such a blow, their mood was not very good. Shi Shangyang's mockery, and immediately made them unbearable. "Damn guy, are you laughing at us?" One person stood up and said. "Dove help." 39 Conan stopped the man, and then said solemnly, "We can't find any other way. The tragedy that happened to Guojia can't continue. People shouldn't live in such a lowly way." Shi Shangyang nodded. "It's a very good ideal, just like what I said last time. I agree with your ideas. I want to achieve peace. I am the same as you, but I don't agree with your approach. What is the difference between you and the weak who pray for peace?" Conan pursed his lips, raised his hand to stop the other four who wanted to speak, and said with a trembling voice, "Maybe. We have always been weak." Daj. Shi Shangyang laughed again, but instead of laughing this time, he said, "One failure is nothing. If you can see the reality of the ninja world earlier, it will be a good thing for you. At least when you truly understand how to fight for peace, I will truly identify with you." That's right, Shi Shangyang is setting up people again. The Akatsuki organization that has ideals and pursuits at this stage is what Shi Shangyang likes. If it is the Akatsuki organization in the original plot, he can build it himself, but in that case, it's just getting some ninja mercenaries. It just doesn't help him. What he wants is people who truly have ideals and pursuits, and who also agree with his ideas. Only such people can truly be trusted. Overturning the entire ninja world and wanting to achieve true peace is not something that can be done easily, and it is impossible for people without true belief to create a new world. Nagato raised his head, stared at Shi Shangyang seriously, and said solemnly, "Tell me, what should we do?" Advertisement. Shi Shangyang heard no nonsense and said directly, "If you seek peace through struggle, peace will survive, and if you seek peace through compromise, peace will perish. This sentence is for you. The reality of the ninja world is like this: peace cannot be achieved without experience. The peace of blood and fire is short-lived, just like first Hokage Senju Hashirama. The peace he created is a joke at all." Nagato looked dazed as if he had been hit hard, and muttered to himself, "Can true peace be possible only through blood and fire?" "That's right." Shi Shangyang nodded earnestly. "Those who have experienced pain will be afraid of pain, and those who have experienced war will hate war even more. This is not only for you, but also the ninja villages who are fighting each other now." Hearing what he said, Nagato was even more at a loss. Then, why did they start a war? They knew all this, so why did they do it? Even though they can feel the pain themselves, why do they bring the pain to others? Shi Shangyang chuckled. Isn't this kind of problem obvious, because they are enemies? Nagato didn't know why, and looked at Shi Shangyang without saying a word, but his eyes were filled with curiosity. Why is there peace in Konoha village? Because they are whole. Under this premise, the fighting in the village will only be limited to a controllable range. Why is there peace in Sanagakure? The same is true. The same is true. Rock Shinobi, Cloud Shinobi and Mist Shinobi are all just because they are all one. Shi Shangyang sat down on a box and continued in a relaxed tone. But the ninja world is not a whole. After 2 wars in the ninja world, what is left in the ninja world? It is a conflict of interests, and the hatred between each other is irreconcilable, and it will continue until there is a crisis that threatens the entire ninja world. Just like the world before Shi Shangyang passed through, the same is true for the ninja world at this time. In the original plot, Black and Obito launched the 4th Ninja World War, which threatened the safety of the entire ninja world. Otherwise, the 5 major ninja villages would not be at all. It is impossible to unite. So what Shi Shangyang said is reality, and it is also the reason why he thinks the current pattern of the ninja world. Nagato's eyes widened slightly. It was the first time he heard such a statement, and interpreting the current situation in the ninja world from this angle made him feel empowered. Shi Shangyang didn't finish his words, he continued. In this case, if you want to achieve peace in the Rain Country and ninja world, do you think it is possible without bloodshed? Your current situation is precisely that you are too immature in your understanding of things. You are immature, and you easily believe what others say. Haven't you thought that Hanzo of the Salamander will easily give up his rights? Wouldn't your presence threaten you? Power in his hands? Advertisement. The sound was not loud, but it was so deafening that the only 6 people who were present all had cards exploded from their bodies. A golden card fell from Nagato's body and floated quietly at his feet. Conan burst out a purple card, and the other 4 were blue cards. Dip. Congratulations to the host for getting the ability card Reincarnation 6 Paths Technique, close black lens bracket. Drop. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the ability card God's Paper Technique, close black lens bracket. I want to make peace, tell me what to do, Yahiko shuddered. Please subscribe. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang did not help him, but stared at everyone present, and finally set his eyes on Yahiko, said solemnly, be my companion, hand over your strength to me, and I will use practical actions. Tell you how to achieve peace. A few people exclaimed, and hurriedly stepped forward to support Yahiko, but the latter put aside their support, came to Shi Shangyang on his own, and sat down directly. Yahiko Yun. There were footsteps in the depths of the cave, and when everyone turned around, they saw Yahiko dragging his injured body and walking slowly against the stone wall. Shi Shangyang was overjoyed. The Reincarnation 6 Paths Technique finally came out, and I don't know whether it was because Rinnegan's awakening was insufficient before Nagato, or he didn't have enough emotional stimulation. Shi Shangyang has been greedy for a long time, but it didn't explode, come out. Now that it is revealed, it will undoubtedly add a lot of combat power to him in the future. There are many ninjas in the ninja world that can be used to make 6 paths. Shi Shangyang has now begun to imagine his own 6 paths ninja in the future how to choose. Nagato was trembling slightly, Conan opened his mouth slightly, and the others looked shocked. Chapter 134 Shi Shangyang's Plan, please subscribe. Speaking of Yahiko, strictly speaking, he should be counted as the first son of prophecy, because no matter from which point of view, he deserves this title, but unfortunately fate made him die at 15, age at this age. If he hadn't died, the follow-up direction of the ninja world was really uncertain. Shi Shangyang has a good impression of Yahiko. In his opinion, this is a very pure person who will give everything for his dream, even if it is to die, without the slightest reluctance. It is this kind of person who is the ideal companion. Shi Shangyang is a very picky person. He can make people who look up at him have their own advantages, and he will not change because of other people's opinions. For example, he is like Orochimaru. I liked his research talent, and I also liked Obito because of his naivety, and I liked Yahiko because of his purity. Even Uchiha Madara, his evaluation here is not low, because Uchiha Madara is also a pure person. He is practicing his own justice from beginning to end, but this justice is used by Black Zetsu, causing the final result of tragedies. But Shi Shangyang despised his means, because in Shi Shangyang's view, if you want to accomplish something, you must first be generous and upright, and some high-level conspiracy behind the scenes really doesn't come to the fore. Thinking about it this way, Shi Shangyang felt that 890 seemed to have no good people in the ninja world. Having said that, Shi Shangyang looked at Yahiko kneeling in front of him, waiting for his reply. The rest of the people heard Shi Shangyang's words, and their expressions changed a little bit, but they didn't say anything to stop them, because in their opinion, the person kneeling on the ground was the bridge between them and the world, and it was the one who brought them peace. Hopeful people, this has never changed. Speaking of which, this is personality charm, which even Shi Shangyang can't do. Okay, from now on, my power will belong to you. Yahiko raised his head, his eyes were full of determination, and with his blood-stained body, there was a sense of bloody pathos at this moment. The corners of Shi Shangyang's mouth lifted slowly, he leaned down to help Yahiko up, and then looked at the others. Facing Shi Shangyang's gaze, the remaining 6 people, including Nagato Conan, looked at each other, and then looked at Yahiko. Their expressions became firm. The next moment, the 6 knelt down on one knee and bowed their heads slightly. Shi Shangyang didn't open his mouth, but a green light appeared on his palm and pressed it against Yahiko's body. Under this chakra, the wound on Yahiko's body began to repair quickly, and the whole process only lasted less than half a minute. Beta withdrew his hand, and Shi Shangyang said, "You need to remember carefully that peace is always the most precious thing. Only by knowing pain and feeling pain can the world understand the preciousness of peace. So, tell me now, in order to realize forbearance. For peace in the world, What are you willing to pay? 35. Yahiko looked a little dazed, but the next moment he said firmly, my everything. Advertisement. The sound was not loud, but it resounded in everyone's ears. Shi Shangyang smiled slightly. Then remember what you said. Now, I will tell you what to do in the future. All stand up. The 6 Nagato Konin stood up with complicated expressions, but since it was Yahiko's decision, what they had to do as companions was to support and follow. At the same time, they can see that Shi Shangyang's determination to achieve peace in the ninja world is even firmer and stronger than them. This point, they can see from Shi Shangyang's demeanor and eyes. In the eyes of everyone's expectations, Shi Shangyang said, the ninja world is not a whole, so we need to integrate the ninja world into a whole, so we need an external force to do this, and if we want to do this at one point, you need a force that can overwhelm the entire ninja world. 39. Power. Yahiko looked at his hands blankly. Shi Shangyang patted him on the shoulder. Yes, it is power. The most powerful force in the ninja world belongs to the tailed beast, and the chakra of the 9 tailed beasts will be one, and a monster that will shake the world will be born. That is us. Need something for a master. Nagato's expression changed when he heard the words. He had Rinnegan. After Rinnegan's abilities were awakened, he knew what would be born when the 9 tailed beasts were united. 10 tails. This is what Nagato has known since summoning out Gedo statue. It is precisely because of this that Nagato feels that the plan Shi Shangyang mentioned may not be so simple. Sure enough, I heard Shi Shangyang say, with the power of the tailed beast, we can declare war on all the ninja villages in a hostile attitude. At that time, the major ninja villages will unite against us and we only need to fight against us. They can all be defeated. At that time, the ninja world will be up to us and peace will be easy. When everyone heard the words, their expressions changed drastically, and they never thought that the plan Shi Shangyang mentioned would be so crazy. Yahiko was a little dazed, and his face changed after he reacted. He felt that the person he was going to follow might be a lunatic. Shi Shangyang's smile didn't change. You mean to say, in this way, what's the difference between us and those careerists who start wars? Yahiko nodded solemnly, and re-examined Shi Shangyang. Advertisement. Shi Shangyang put away the cards on the ground without hesitation, but unfortunately no gold card appeared this time. Even Nagato just dropped a purple ability card of Wind-style Chakra Nature Transformation. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang was not too disappointed, but his smile became more and more obvious. Because I am not a careerist, I will not do such a plan, Shi Shangyang said. Several people were stunned. Shi Shangyang said again, what I'm talking about is another guy's plan. He plans to collect 9-tailed beasts, and at the same time merge the 9-tailed beasts to become an existence that can subdue the ninja world. At that time, he will display a powerful fantasy world that pulls everyone in the entire ninja world, so that the ninja world can achieve permanent peace. 5. Yahiko took a step back subconsciously, and the others couldn't help clenching their fists. That person is called Uchiha Madara, Shi Shangyang said. The crowd was shocked again. What you said is true? Yahiko asked. Shi Shangyang nodded. I won't lie to you about this kind of thing, because it's not necessary. While speaking, he put away a few cards again. This time, there are still no golden cards. Hearing this, everyone's expressions changed, with some unbelievable expressions. Now, I need you to take this responsibility and act as the enemy of the other ninja village, Shi Shangyang said solemnly. As a woman, Konan has a delicate mind. Hearing what he thought of, he quickly said, you mean to let us act as enemies of other villages to maintain the peace of the ninja world? Certainly, Shi Shangyang smiled and nodded, applauding. Yes, the third ninja war will not last long, it will end one day, but after that, peace will not last forever. I need an organization to stand up, to attract the attention of all shinobi villages, so that they dare not start a war easily, and buy time for my plan. As he spoke, he explained his plan to build Tien Village, and then planned to use Tien Village as the foundation to gradually subvert the entire ninja world. Chapter 135, Conquering Shao Organization, subscribe. Shi Shangyang's plan is not complicated, to establish the village of Tien, develop the village of Tien, and then use the power of the village of Tien to integrate the entire ninja world, so as to realize the real peace of the ninja world. At that time, Shi Shangyang will you can turn your eyes to the stars. He will not forget Otsutsuki in the starry sky, that is the real threat to the ninja world. Conquering the ninja world or something has never been his goal. What he wants is to integrate all the forces of the ninja world, so as to carry out various innovations and technological iterations on the premise of achieving peace, and then rush to the vast starry sky. As a transmigrator, especially a person like Shi Shangyang who has received a complete education and has a solid 3 views, he would never take the conquest of the ninja world as his goal, because in his opinion, it is a very stupid thing. His ambitions are small, as long as there is a peaceful environment. At the same time, his ambition is so great that the whole world does not take it seriously. Contradictory, but very realistic. So in Shi Shangyang's view, the war in the ninja world is really just a small fight, and only the vast starry sky can hold his heart. Shi Shangyang received the card for the 4th time. This time, another golden card finally burst out, and it still fell from Chongmen. It seems that Shi Shangyang's plans and dreams really gave him a huge heartshake. Drop. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the ability card Soul Extraction Technique, close black lens bracket. Dip. Congratulations to the ability card and Soul Extraction Technique obtained by host, which has been increased by 6 times, and has been upgraded to ability card and Soul Extraction Technique, Grandmaster. Very good, another technique unique to Nagato Rinnegan. Shi Shangyang felt that he earned it. Shi Shangyang has discovered that although Rinnegan's ability is fixed after awakening, the skills belonging to Rinnegan can be developed and become Rinnegan's exclusive ability. In this regard, he has gradually figured out a way. Just like instilling Yongdun into Sasuke before, after more than 2 months of Yongdun output, after he summed up his experience and combined with medical ninjutsu, he has gradually formed the prototype of a new ninjutsu. He had already thought about the name of the ninjutsu, and it was called Life Recovery. He had just treated Yahiko's injury, and he used this immature jutsu. If it was really developed, Shi Shangyang would be able to recover from such an injury within 3 seconds, all done. Right now, it's just a lot stronger than healing jutsu, but it's still not up to the level of rapid repair. In Shi Shangyang's vision, the final effect of this technique should be comparable to the forbidden technique effect of Tsunade's ninja art, meiotic regeneration. Shi Shangyang is not sure how many abilities Nagato's Rinnegan has awakened, and it seems that they will continue to grow in the future, and these new ability cards are either awakened by Nagato, or the pair of Rinnegans have awakened, but Nagato has unknown. Advertisement after all, these eyes belong to Uchiha Madara. After so long, the ghost knows how many techniques Uchiha Madara has created with these eyes. It's too far, let's say it again. Shi Shangyang was happy to get the new golden ability card, but the few people in front of him still haven't recovered. Yahiko opened his mouth slightly, as if he really knew Shi Shangyang, and said in shock, Are you serious? Shi Shangyang nodded. Of course, at this point, I will never deny that my dream is to enter the starry sky, the ninja world, but it is just a small pond, I don't like it. With Shi Shangyang's acknowledgement, Yahiko suddenly fell silent, his face a little sad for some reason. It's really ridiculous to say that, when I was worrying about making this Guoja peaceful, you never really set your sights on the ninja world. Is this the gap between us? Shi Shangyang smiled slightly, but instead of comforting him, he said, So, to be my companion, you might as well look farther and look higher. After you really think about it, you will find that in the ninja world, it's really too small, and it's too fragile. It's so fragile that sometimes you want to do something, you have to be careful, for fear of causing any damage to the ninja world. Ha ha. Yahiko just smiled and said nothing. Shi Shangyang added, Remember the guy who came to see you last time? 99. Yahiko came back to his senses, somewhat unclear, and nodded subconsciously. Shi Shangyang did not hide it, and directly told the story of Uchiha Obito, in which he focused on describing the various experiences of Uchiha Obito under the design of Uchiha Madara, which made everyone present shudder. They put themselves in their shoes and thought, if they were Uchiha Obito, how desperate and unwilling they would be in such a situation. He is also my companion, but there are powerful and terrifying enemies hidden by his side, so his current status is very special, and he will do some things that villains will do in the future. This needs to be told to you in advance, so that both of you will not do it in the future. If you meet, there will be conflict. For flowers, 0. Yahiko nodded. No wonder he felt a little weird the last time he met that guy, and didn't feel much malice from him. So, who is that powerful and fearsome enemy you speak of? Yahiko asked. Shi Shangyang shook his head slightly. Advertisement. There is not only one enemy, but many. The ninja world is not as safe as imagined. Our enemies include ninjas from other villages and threats from the starry sky. The former is easy to understand, and the latter, you are not yet. Need to know so much, because now knowing that kind of thing is just a waste of energy. I will tell you when the time is right. 0. Yahiko heard the words and did not ask any further questions. Shi Shangyang suddenly looked solemn and said solemnly, Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan. What? Exist? Yes. The three reacted differently. Yahiko was a little dazed, Nagato responded positively, and Konan too. The three of you still lead the Akatsuki organization, and at the same time, recruit compatible companions. When the time is right, you will dispose of Hanzo of the Salamander and take over Rain Shinobi Village and Rain Country. After that, I will teach you how to manage a village in a Guoja. I hope you will not let me down. 39. Shi Shangyang has a serious voice and a serious attitude. Shi Shangyang smiled slightly. From now on, you have to learn how to be villains, understand? What? Hearing this, the three of them froze, knowing that this was the first task Shi Shangyang had arranged for them. This task was very heavy, and even they were under a lot of pressure at this time. Yahiko was puzzled. Please subscribe. Only. Yahiko was stunned. Don't worry, I won't let you do it alone, someone will come to help you. In addition, Uchiha Obito, because there are enemies around him, he needs to hide himself, so he will come to recruit you later. This is me when the time comes. You can pretend to agree to the tasks assigned to him, and remember to pretend to be presentable. Shi Shangyang explained again. How to dress. Chapter 136. The Eve of the Betrayal Village, for subscription. Shi Shangyang's plan is not too complicated. It is to let Shao organization maintain a similar position in the original plot to a certain extent, but remove the stubborn of recruiting rebellion. The positioning he gave to the Shao organization was an organization that cherished the dream of changing the pattern of the ninja world and realized the peace of the ninja world, but was doing something similar to the villain. This will stabilize Black Zetsu beside Uchiha Obito while giving Shi Shangyang some time. Shi Shangyang is not afraid of Black Zetsu, but if there is no Black Zetsu, there is no way to lead Otsutsuki Kagaya. What Shi Shangyang is really afraid of is the Otsutsuki, especially in the ninja world. There is still a hidden Otsutsuki style, that is what he wants to find the most guy. He now has one person to conquer the confidence of the entire ninja world, but for those Otsutsuki, he will not take it lightly, so it is necessary to accumulate strength, and it is the best choice to stabilize the situation. Otherwise, rashly changing too many things and exposing himself, 8 or 9 zeros, in front of the stage will definitely make him startled, and he will lose the advantage of foresight, thus making many things troublesome. This is Shi Shangyang unwilling to see. Facing the days of Shao organized everyone, Shi Shangyang gave the answer. It's not complicated, just let them pretend that after this blow, they have resentment against the entire ninja world, so they have the idea of using strength to conquer everything. With Shi Shangyang's explanation, Yahiko and others came to understand. Fortunately, they were not stupid, and Shi Shangyang didn't need to waste too much energy to talk about it. Got it, don't worry, I know what to do. Yahiko regained his confidence. He saw hope from Shi Shangyang, just because Shi Shangyang was not just talking about it, but had a complete plan, and those plans were deeper than what they had thought before. Before the Shao organization, they were just doing things with enthusiasm, but they did not have a complete plan. To grow to the previous level, it was entirely through love to generate electricity. After suffering the blow, they realized the importance of planning in advance. Then, just do this, contact me regularly, and notify me before any action. In addition, if you find a good seedling, you can send it to Tien Zhiguo, and I will arrange for someone to train it. From now on, Tien Zhiguo and Yuji will even if the country as a whole, Shi Shangyang said solemnly. Yes. Several people responded and had no objection to Shi Shangyang's arrangement. They can see that Shi Shangyang is not just as simple as talking, he thinks more deeply than them, and sees farther than them. Having such a person to lead the way makes them feel a lot more at ease, and they don't have to suffer as hard as before, groping hard. Shi Shangyang didn't stay here for too long. After making these arrangements, he returned to Tianji village. The matter of the Rain Country Shao organization was temporarily over. The rest will wait for them to recover gradually. Anyway, there is enough time and they don't need to go. Do something else, so don't worry too much for now. Advertisement. He is now concerned about what's going on Orochimaru's side and what's happening at Hyuga's house, but neither side has taken the initiative to contact him. The construction of TNG village is still going on, and more than 1,000 people have erupted with great enthusiasm. Now it is like a paradise, and it has not been affected by external wars. People are working hard to build their own homes, and their faces are full of satisfaction. Smile. For ordinary people, a stable environment and visible hope are enough to satisfy people, and they never ask for too much. Shi Shangyang is quite satisfied with this, but the population of TNG village is a shackle that restricts development. If TNG village wants to grow, the population is essential, and there are also various needs, which are urgently needed, fixed. Because, White Zetsu has become a professional errand, and has been arranged by Shi Shangyang to start looking for ordinary people who have been displaced by the war in the surrounding battlefields. The Third Ninja World War spread very lightly. The war between the 5 big countries caused turmoil in countless small countries. Almost all the small countries caught between the big countries became battlefields. It is conceivable that in this situation next, how many people will lose their homes. Therefore, since Shi Shangyang established TNG village, he has consciously gathered the surrounding population, and now this scope has been further expanded. After more than 2 months, White Zetsu has found more than 600 people from outside. Most of these people are ordinary people who were forced to leave their homes because of the war. Now they are villagers of TNG village. Enjoy the precious peace here. The biggest difference between Shi Shangyang and those in power in this world is that he is good at taking advantage of all favorable conditions. Ordinary people are nothing in the eyes of others, but they are treasures in his eyes. The larger the population, the higher the chance of the birth of talents. The talents mentioned here are not just ninja talents, but all kinds of industries. For a complete social painting, hundreds of industries are the cornerstone and a necessary condition for strength. Now, in the small village of Tien, a basic handicraft industry has been born under the arrangement of Shi Shangyang, and this kind of handicraft industry will also grow with time. As time goes by, a real industry gradually develops. What is industry? It is the lifeblood of a strong country. Shi Shangyang has set the tone from the very beginning. Tien Zhiguo wants to walk out of the basic, farming road during the turbulent period of the ninja world, and also develop his own ninja strength. Both are indispensable. Now it seems that Shi Shangyang feels that there is no problem with his planning. With the gradual increase of the population, the village of Tien will also expand, and the division of labor will become more and more clear. When the village of Tien gradually gets on the right track, then there will definitely be a burst of power that can shake the entire ninja world. Now, Shi Shangyang needs a leader in scientific research, and this person is Orochimaru he has chosen. Shi Shangyang is the leader of TNG village. What he has to do is to set a development path for TNG village. He can participate in specific things, but he must not be involved in too many things. He specializes in art. It is the right way to arrange things according to categories. Advertisement. While Shi Shangyang was waiting, there was finally movement on Konoha's side. Shi Shangyang left TNG village and appeared in Konoha. It seems that 10 days have passed, but Konoha is still calm, and it seems that he has not been affected by the external war. Shi Shangyang thought it was Orochimaru who contacted him, but when he came, he found out that it was Naruto Hyuga who contacted him. "My lord, I am ready." Hyuga Naruto knelt down on one knee in front of Shi Shangyang, and his tone was very excited when he said this. "How many people have you contacted?" Shi Shangyang asked. Hyuga Naruto said solemnly, "We have contacted more than 40 people, 36 of them are willing to leave, plus their family members. There are 183 people in 3.0. Shi Shangyang nodded and was about to say something, but suddenly his expression changed, and the special Kawushang left at Orochimaru moved. He said, "Very good, call your contact person, I will come to you tonight." Hyuga said directly, "Sir, there is no way to be in a hurry to be together, such a movement can easily attract the attention of the clan." Shi Shangyang thought for a while, then said, "Stretch out your hand." Naruto Hyuga didn't know why, but he did. Shi Shangyang made a seal, and then pointed 2 fingers on his palm, and soon left a special incantation in his palm. "Mark this spell on the person you contact, don't forget to mark their family members, and I will take them away together." "Yes, my lord." Chapter 137 Orochimaru's Statement. Please subscribe. It is also a coincidence that Orochimaru contacted Shi Shangyang at this time, and it was not long before Hyuga now contacted Shi Shangyang, so it seems that the Orochimaru and Hyuga clan can arrange to leave together. It was only later that he realized that he still thought about this matter simply. "What do you mean? Wouldn't it be good to just walk away like this?" This is the question that Shi Shangyang asked after meeting with Orochimaru, just because Orochimaru didn't want to leave directly, but wanted to leave something for Konoha. Orochimaru smiled gloomily and said in a hoarse voice, "This is the village where I live. After so many years, I have feelings. But since I am leaving, I have to let the village know my decision." Shi Shangyang was a bit baffled, but when he thought about Orochimaru's character, he felt that he did it right. Orochimaru has his own pride. Now he is in a very awkward position in Konoha. The fight for 4th Hokage has no his role, his 2 companions, Tsunade and Jiraiya, have no interest in becoming Hokage. Only he as Hokage has a series of limitations, so he had to unite with Danzo, in order to leave himself a 14 stable research environment. In this way, he naturally won't be very comfortable, even if he doesn't really care about Hokage's position, but Hokage has been doing this all the time, but it seems that he has become a disobedient bad boy, which makes him how willing. Shi Shangyang's invitation is just a point. In fact, the current Orochimaru has already had the idea of breaking away from Konoha. The arrival of Shi Shangyang only strengthened his idea. So, to leave now, whether to leave silently, or to tell Konoha that this is his choice, with Orochimaru's character and situation, it is not difficult to understand such a decision. What can Shi Shangyang say? He can only shake his head. So, what are you going to do? He also knows that in this case, there is no need to stop Orochimaru. What this guy wants to do, let him do it. Fighting with my teacher, he should still have the ability to do it now. If he is surpassed by my disciple, will it be difficult for him to accept it? Orochimaru's smile was a little distorted, something indescribable. Bad taste. You really have a deep love for Konoha, are you sure you want to do this? Shi Shangyang stared at Orochimaru with a half-smile. This guy is true to want to betray the village. It is true that he wants to express his position, and it is true that he wants to leave a warning to Konoha. If you don't know the original plot, Shi Shangyang may not know it yet, but he knows it all too well. Analyzing Orochimaru's life, it is true that he wants to live forever, and it is true that he has ambitions, but this guy really doesn't care about Konoha. How much hatred. The Konoha destruction plan, in Shi Shangyang's opinion, is more like a farce between the disciple and the teacher. At that time, Konoha didn't say that the wind and rain were precarious, but there were also some blue and yellow, especially the 4th generation had been dead for many years, and Konoha had to support Sarutobi Hiruzen, the 3rd Hokage. Advertisement. The point is that both Jiraiya and Tsunade were outside the village at the time and had absolutely no idea of taking over the Hokage position, so what did Orochimaru do? He planned the Konoha destruction plan, because Sand Shinobi came out with the strongest 4th Kazekage. After a long period of repair, Sand Shinobi has recovered and the threat to Konoha is far greater than the other 3 shinobi villages, so Orochimaru directly one wave took Sand Shinobi away. Is this not love? Well, what Orochimaru did next was the real expression of his love for Konoha. Since both Jiraiya and Tsunade are unwilling to accept Hokage's position, that's fine, then let them have to accept that Orochimaru has just arrived in Konoha, putting himself in danger, using himself as bait and forcibly killing his own. The teacher, 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, directly made Jiraiya and Tsunade have no way out. Look, under such a variety of practices, can he highlight his love for Konoha? After that, because of his threat, Konoha quickly united, and Jiraiya quickly retrieved Tsunade. During this period, he appeared in front of the 2 again, putting pressure on them with his presence, or Tsunade wouldn't be so happy to agree to be the 5th Hokage. If you think about it this way, Orochimaru's late jump in the 4th Ninja World War is completely straightforward. He betrayed Konoha only because of his deep love for Konoha. Shi Shangyang was a little moved by his own guess. Orochimaru, can he be there? Fortunately, he didn't say it, otherwise Orochimaru wouldn't know if he would still be able to maintain his current expression. Deep love for Konoha? This is the first time I've heard such a ridiculous statement. Orochimaru narrowed his expression, looked in the direction of the Konoha Hokage building, and asked, what do you want to do? Shi Shangyang shrugged. This is your business. I came here just to take you away. I have other things to do later. Something else? Orochimaru raised an eyebrow. Shi Shangyang smiled and said, besides you, I have to take some people from the Hyuga clan. This time, Orochimaru was surprised. You kid looks like you have a lot of ambition. Shi Shangyang just smiled slightly. If this is ambition, then ambition is too cheap. How about you? What are you going to do? Advertisement. Orochimaru grinned, then performed the body flicker technique and walked forward. In that direction was the area where the Hokage building was located. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang followed without any hesitation, but he was a little curious about what Orochimaru would do next, and wondered if there was going to be a Konoha destruction plan at this time. The two of 890 were one after the other, and soon came to the area where the Hokage building was located. As soon as Shi Shangyang landed, 4 Anbu ninjas appeared beside him. Stop. One of them spoke. Shi Shangyang didn't do anything. It was normal for him to be blocked. After all, this is the Hokage building, and these Anbu's duty is to protect Hokage. But Orochimaru was not blocked. After seeing this scene, he added his lower lip, and then stretched out his hand suddenly. A dozen pythons sprang out of his sleeves, tying the 4 Anbu almost instantly. Big, Orochimaru-sama. The 4 were taken aback, and they never thought that Orochimaru would actually do something to them. Shi Shangyang still didn't move, just watched quietly. Orochimaru smiled sullenly and said in a hoarse voice, is the old man in there? Please subscribe. Lord Orochimaru, what do you want to do? Anbu Ninja asked subconsciously. The next moment, more Anbu and Konoha shinobi appeared around Orochimaru and Shi Shangyang, surrounding them. A sound of broken bones sounded, followed by the scream of the speaker. Saw. I want to say hello to the old man, because after today, I will betray Konoha. Saw. Click. Chapter 138 stabs Hokage in the heart, for subscription. Hearing Orochimaru's words, everyone was in an uproar, even if they were Anbu ninjas who suppressed their feelings, but Orochimaru's words still gave them a violent shock. It's a pity for Shi Shangyang. If he made a move, it would have to be a burst card. But this time he didn't plan to do anything, and he positioned himself as a spectator, so he just stood there silently, watching Orochimaru's last performance in Konoha. Master Orochimaru, do you know what you are talking about? The leading Anbu ninja's voice was heavy, and he actually knew very well that when Orochimaru said that he was going to betray the village, it already represented that this matter could not be a joke, because it was impossible for ninjas to joke about this kind of thing. Orochimaru added his lower lip, and his voice was still hoarse, but the words he said made the Konoha shinobi present couldn't help but tremble in their hearts. I'm tired of staying in this place. I'm just here to say goodbye to the old man, if the old man is not around. Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by a heavy voice. Orochimaru. It was an angry voice. It was supposed to be a roar, but it was abruptly suppressed, and everyone could feel the disappointment and anger in this person's words. Old man, long time no see. Orochimaru's smile brightened when he saw the person who came. Indeed, it should be described as brilliant, because at this moment Orochimaru's smile did not mean to restrain at all, but with his face and his demeanor, it seemed even more dignified. The person who came was the 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. He appeared faster than expected. He was wearing a Hokage imperial robe and a hat. The expression on his face was very complicated. It was a kind of bitterness after being hurt by those closest to him. There is also anger at the disciples wanting to betray the village. The two emotions are mixed together. You know what you're talking about, Orochimaru, Sarutobi Hiruzen said solemnly. Humph, of course I know what I'm talking about. I'm here to let you know my decision. Teacher, you're old, and now you have even reached the point of praying for peace. The one I know Shinobu is already dead. An old guy like you makes me wonder if I can still lead Konoha down. These words are a bit murderous, and they are completely stabbing Sarutobi Hiruzen's heart with a knife, so that Sarutobi Hiruzen's face paled a bit after hearing this. He probably never thought that his own disciple would say such things to his teacher. Clang. 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 The many ninjas surrounding Orochimaru and Shi Shangyang, after hearing Orochimaru's words, drew out their own ninja swords without any nonsense, and they would attack the two of them only when Hokage-sama gave an order. Advertisement. But Sarutobi Hiruzen calmed down, but looked at Orochimaru with a hint of sadness in his eyes. In his memory, his own disciple would not be like this. Orochimaru, you are so disappointing, he said. Orochimaru chuckled twice, and then the 4 people who were trapped by his hidden snake hands, their bodies were gradually squeezed by the snake's body, and along with the sound of bones shattering, they let out shrill screams. Laugh. With a flash of cold light, the pythons were chopped to 2 ends. An Anbu ninja rescued the 4 companions, only to find that they were seriously injured. Seeing this, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyelids jumped, but he turned his attention to Shi Shangyang who was standing there. Who is he? Orochimaru added another lower lip, smiled sullenly and said, he, but the guy the first one to follow. Take him. Hearing Orochimaru's words, Sarutobi Hiruzen gave the order without any hesitation. In an instant, half of the Anbu ninjas in the field moved and charged towards Shi Shangyang. The ninja sword glowed with a cold light and attacked Shi Shangyang. At this time, Shi Shangyang, as if frightened, still stood there and did not move, allowing those attacks to come to him. But what horrified those Anbu ninjas was that their attack actually penetrated the target's body without causing any damage to it. The target still stood there, and even Kakuzu didn't shake even in this case. Seeing this scene, third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen's pupils shrank. Orochimaru's mouth was split open, and there was an inexplicable look in his eyes. Swish, swish, swish. Whether it was a slash or a shuriken kunai attack, they all penetrated Shi Shangyang's body, and then fell into the distance. In a blink of an eye, all kinds of kunai and shuriken were all around him. One slice. What's the matter with this guy? Such an attack has no effect on him. What about ninjutsu? Try ninjutsu, advertisement. These Anbu ninjas were already shocked, and then reacted quickly, and started to seal after each retreated. Fire-style Great Fireball Technique, Wind-style Lianlong Slashing Technique, Earth-style Marsh Column Pressing Technique. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen ninjutsu bombarded Shi Shangyang, drowning him in an instant, and he still just stood silently without any movement. The fire and smoke spread out, covering Shi Shangyang's figure. Everyone was waiting for a result, but when the smoke and fire dissipated, Shi Shangyang's figure was revealed. I saw that he was still standing there quietly. The ground under his feet had softened and turned into a quagmire, and there were still charred mud lumps floating in the quagmire, but all this did not make Shi Shangyang make the slightest change. What was it just now? What is it still? One person suddenly spoke, and then 4 people quickly came to Shi Shangyang's side, and slapped the mud under their feet after making marks with their hands. Anti-4 Purple Flame Formation. With the 4 hands as the center, purple chakra barriers emerged, connected to each other, and instantly turned into a 4-sided chakra prison, trapping Shi Shangyang in it. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes slightly when he saw this, but the next moment his eyes widened, because he saw Shi Shangyang's step. Shi Shiren walked out of the seal, Chanuo's, and passed through the chakra barrier, was not affected in any way. The Hidden Shadow Snake Hand ability card. This thing is better than nothing for Shi Shangyang. How come? Impossible. How did this guy do it? 55 feet. Please subscribe. He came to Orochimaru and said inexplicably. By the way, are you going to wait like this? It's not a good habit to waste time. Everyone present was so shocked that there were cards all over the floor now. Shi Shangyang was a bit baffled, and he didn't do anything. HMPH, can't you wait? Orochimaru laughed. Shi Shangyang shrugged. Whatever you want, it's your business anyway, I'm just here to watch the show. However, he naturally wouldn't waste these cards. He put them away as soon as he thought about it, but unfortunately they were all white and blue cards, and the only purple card came out of Orochimaru. Chapter 139. Konoha Vibration, for subscription. After saying this, Shi Shangyang stood aside, completely ignoring the gazes of others. At this time, because of Shi Shangyang's move out of the seal, the people who had been shocked finally came to their senses. Facing such an enemy, they didn't know what to do. No matter what kind of attack they had no effect. Even the sealing technique was useless against the opponent, and it was the first time they had encountered such a situation. You must know that it is the 4 Purple Flame Formation. It is an ill-level enchantment sealing technique, an advanced sealing technique that requires 4 ninjas with at least the level of Chunin to perform. The purple transparent barrier is not as simple as chakra, but the purple flame created by chakra nature transformation. Those trapped inside want to come out, and once they touch the 4 walls, they will be burned by flames, but this ability fails on Shi Shangyang's body. It is precisely because of this that the people present were shocked. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned deeply and said solemnly, "Who are you, 99? What he asked was Shi Shangyang, and Shi Shangyang waved his hands, stood by his arms, and said with a chuckle, "Please don't leave me alone, I'm just a showgoer. What you have to deal with now is this guy Orochimaru. If you want to betray Konoha, don't you have any sign of it?" 890 Orochimaru chuckled softly. "Do you want to see me get caught by them?" Shi Shangyang pouted, but his face was hidden under the mask, and no one could see his movements. "If you were caught by them so easily, then treat me as if I haven't been here. Trash doesn't deserve to be mine. Companion." HMPH, what an unpleasant kid, Orochimaru said. Sarutobi Hiruzen's expression changed when he heard the words. He stared at Shi Shangyang for 2 seconds, and then suddenly said, "Are you Shi Shangyang?" Shi Shangyang was not too surprised that his identity was guessed, and Orochimaru's sentence of little devil has actually been exposed a lot. He ignored Sarutobi Hiruzen and instead asked Orochimaru, "Did you do it on purpose?" HMPH, would you be afraid of such a thing? Orochimaru asked rhetorically. Although Shi Shangyang didn't know why Shiwan did this, he didn't care much, so he took off his mask in the eyes of everyone, revealing his slightly immature handsome face. "Long time no see, Lord Hokage, can you tell me how you guessed my identity?" he asked. Sarutobi Hiruzen can't tell what he's feeling now. There are shocks, regrets, disappointments, and bitterness. "Advertisement, it's really you," he said solemnly, "because in the history of Konoha, there has never been a person who betrayed the village at your age. I would like to ask, why did you do this? Obviously you have an excellent talent, and you can become a villager in the future. Pillars. Instead of answering the question, Shi Shangyang asked, is that guy Shimura Danzo in the village? Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly said, is it because of him? Shi Shangyang smiled and said, if that guy is in the village, can I trouble him to come out and lead him to death? I'm still quite interested in killing him. Heh, you little brat, it looks like you have a hard time hating the Danzo guy. Orochimaru laughed. Shi Shangyang curled his lips. Hate? You think too highly of that guy isn't even my enemy, it's just that what happened to me on the battlefield made me more or less unhappy, killing him. He is just a matter of convenience, and will not waste my energy. As he spoke, he received another wave of cards, and luck was the same, only one purple card from Sarutobi Hiruzen. The Shuriken Shadow Clone ability card is neither good nor bad. Sarutobi Hiruzen seemed to be several years old at this moment. Looking at Shi Shangyang's face, he wanted to give an order several times, but he couldn't say the words. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang chuckled lightly, and appeared outside the field in a flash, and then said, Orochimaru, don't waste your time. Orochimaru pouted and said to Sarutobi Hiruzen, I'm sorry, teacher, that guy gave me an order. When Beta finished speaking, he suddenly stretched out his hands hidden in his sleeves instantly turned into long snakes, and swiftly attacked Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen is known as the ninja, and it is easy to avoid such an attack. The moment Orochimaru made his move, the Anbu ninjas on the side made his move at the same time. In an instant, Ichika Kunai and Chakra blasted towards Orochimaru, and at the same time came one after another of ninjutsu. These people cooperated closely and blocked the space around Orochimaru with one hand, leaving him nowhere to escape. In the same way, someone launched an attack on Shi Shangyang. Whether or not they can hit it is one thing, but whether they do it is another matter. What the two of them did is equivalent to provoking Konoha, and they have no reason to endure it. The movement here attracted more ninjas early, and at this time, there were more ninjas, rushing towards the Hokage building from all directions, and then joined the battle. The array of 10,000 snakes, advertisement. Orochimaru evaded the attack, and at the same time formed a seal with his hands, and then opened his mouth and spit out a dense number of small snakes. These little snakes quickly spread out to the surrounding, colorful Madara. They looked dense enough to make one's scalp numb. Hissing, the little snakes rushed towards the surrounding like a wave of water, and in an instant, the ninjas in a large area were swept away, wrapped in it. What? Do not, hateful, exclamations and screams appeared. This ninjutsu could be regarded as Orochimaru's ultimate move. In the face of so many ninjas, even he did not dare to take it lightly. The scene became chaotic in an instant. Orochimaru's rich combat experience is no worse than that of his own teacher, Sarutobi Hiruzen. Even if he has not reached the level in the original plot at this stage, Sanin is not just talking about it. In the face of so many people's attacks, he will not be defeated in a short period of time. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Orochimaru who was fighting the ninjas in the field with a complicated expression, and then heaved a deep breath. Just as he was about to bite his fingers to perform the summoning technique, two figures appeared beside him. Hiruzen, what happened? Asked one of the two, a middle-aged man wearing glasses. What is Orochimaru doing? Another woman asked. Their expressions suddenly changed, and Utatane Kaharu asked, who is that guy? Orochimaru said he was going to betray Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen said. What? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked very complicated, and sighed. It was Shi Shangyang, and he was the one who tricked Orochimaru into doing this. 95. The two exclaimed, and Mitokado Homura asked, is that the Uchiha kid who rebelled on the battlefield? Please subscribe. The two were Konoha's high-level advisors, Mitokado Homura and Utatane Kaharu, and Sarutobi Hiruzen Yuhi's teammates. They rushed over after hearing the news. Shi Shangyang heard the voice here, turned his head, looked here, smiled and said, I'm not Uchiha. Chapter 140 Orochimaru is super brave, please subscribe. Although Shi Shangyang said so, but Mitokado Homura chose to ignore his statement. Instead he gritted his teeth slightly. It really is evil Uchiha. Danzo is right, those eyes are born evil. Utatane Kaharu frowned, looking at Shi Shangyang with a bad look. She said, this guy can't be allowed to escape, we must maintain the dignity of the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen stopped the two and said solemnly, he is not an ordinary child, so he cannot be taken lightly. 99. Shi Shangyang shook his head helplessly. It's said that I'm not Uchiha, I just have Sharingan. Why do you have such a deep prejudice against Uchiha? Is it just because of Uchiha Madara? That's also a matter between him and first Hokage Senju Hashirama. What's the matter with you? He had been wanting to ask this question for a long time, and after asking it, he felt a lot more at ease. By the way, he also received 2 purple cards, from Mitokado Homura and Utatane Kaharu, both of which were B-level ninjutsu, one fire style and one water style. The two of them obviously wouldn't answer his question, they both snorted coldly and stopped talking. Boom. The ground suddenly shook, and then a huge monster suddenly appeared in the village. It was an extremely huge snake, covered with purple scales, with black lines around its body. The raised horns of the root are not so much a serpent, but a giant python. As soon as this behemoth appeared, it directly collapsed many buildings. The huge body carried a terrifying oppressive force, and it destroyed a piece of ruins with a single sweep. Orochimaru, You are here to disturb my uncle's sleep again. The giant python opened his mouth and spit out human words with a very bad attitude. Orochimaru stood on the top of the python and said coldly, "There will be sacrifices for you later, this time as compensation. Now, destroy this place for me, 10,000 snakes." 35. HMPH, this uncle wants 100 sacrifices. She snorted coldly. Orochimaru didn't talk nonsense anymore. It seemed that the way he got along with his summoning beast was just like this, very strange. Shi Shangyang stood below, and looked at the pergola with his hands, tisk tisk. Snake's huge body twisted and moved forward. By coincidence, Shi Shangyang happened to be on its path, but Orochimaru and Snake didn't take it seriously. The former knew that Shi Shangyang would definitely be able to dodge, while the latter completely avoided it. I don't care how little bug in its eyes feels. Then, Snake's huge body ran over Shi Shangyang. Boom. It was the first time Shi Shangyang had seen such a huge summoning beast, as if a derailed train had read it in front of him, so he couldn't help but take a few more glances. Orochimaru guessed right. Snake's actions couldn't hurt Shi Shangyang at all. He didn't even move, let the huge snake body pass through him, and after Snake passed through Shi Shangyang's hand, there was an extra piece of blood on it. Advertisement: it was just dug out of Snake's body. It was the size of a wash basin, but to Snake, it was a drop in the bucket. It didn't seem to feel any pain and was still sprinting forward. Shi Shangyang took out a seal scroll on his own, then sealed the piece of flesh and blood in it, and finally put it close to him, nodding his head in satisfaction. Summoning beasts are a unique species in the ninja world. This kind of thing that did not exist before Shi Shangyang crossed, and he has a lot of research to add. Bring some flesh and blood back, maybe you can study something out of it. While thinking so, the battle has already started over there. The huge body of the snake rammed and destroyed everything along the way. This movement is no problem if it is said to be the Nine Tails Rebellion, and the consequences are not much worse than the Nine Tails Rebellion in the original plot. But here is Konoha. Konoha's ninjas are swarming towards here, although the ninjas present can't do anything about this huge summoning beast in a short time, but it is not that they have no resistance at all. Summoning. Sarutobi Hiruzen performed summoning, and with a bang, after the white smoke dispersed, a sturdy ape appeared. Ape Demon. Transform. Ape Demon hasn't figured out the situation yet, but with his long-term cooperation with Sarutobi Hiruzen, he instantly knew that the situation was urgent. This F*K is a bit silly. Seeing this, Shi Shangyang twitched the corners of his mouth and wanted to spit out a few words, but since this is a real world, everything is possible, so he finally held back. Sarutobi Hiruzen held the wish-fulfilling golden cudgel and threw the wish-fulfilling cudgel forward without any pause, and saw the other end of the wish-fulfilling golden hoop extending rapidly, like a long spear shot out, but in an instant, it had already hit on the head of the snake. Boom. For flowers 0. Ow! Snake roared in pain, his head was raised high by the impact, and even the Orochimaru on his head was almost thrown out. Superior, Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Advertisement. Saw. The next moment, all the ninjas focused fire on Wanshe, and all kinds of ninjutsu attacked him as if they didn't want money. In the gap when Wanshe was hit hard, almost none of the ninjutsu failed. 10,000 snakes is one of the top summoning beasts in the ninja world, but even a powerful summoning beast like it is still a little bit unbearable under the attack of so many ninjas, and can't help screaming and screaming. Damn, Orochimaru, what the hell are you doing? Snake said angrily. It has clearly seen the situation it is facing, and it is very unfavorable for it, which is simply a disaster. Point 0. Humph, nothing, just facing the entire Konoha ninja. Orochimaru sneered. Hole. She knew that he had been tricked, and without any nonsense, with a bang, his entire body turned into white smoke and exploded, directly cancelling summoning unilaterally. Although there is a contract between it and Orochimaru, in the final analysis, it is only a relationship of mutual use, and there is no emotion at all, so it will never do anything to make it work hard for Orochimaru. Orochimaru seemed to have anticipated this situation long ago, opening his mouth and revealing a long sword with his tongue rolled up. Shi Shangyang looked straight and grinned. If it was him, he wouldn't hide things like this when he was beaten to death. How unsanitary. Facing so many enemies, Orochimaru was braver than Shi Shangyang imagined, and he didn't know what he was thinking. In the presence of so many ninjas, he had no chance of winning, but he still attacked Sarutobi Hiruzen. You back away. Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted loudly, and rushed up with a wishful gold hoop. He did this teacher, and wanted to completely wake Orochimaru at this time, which was his responsibility as a teacher. Catch him. 99 When Shi Shangyang was watching the play and felt that Orochimaru was super brave, Mitokado Homura over there gave orders to other ninjas, and the target was Shi Shangyang. Tisk, does it look like I'm being bullied? Shi Shangyang suddenly felt that he should act a little too.